In this video, we strive to remain spoiler-free, discussing only story and plot elements from the books relevant to what has occurred already on the show.
Hi, I'm Max.
Hi, I'm Olver's ears.
Jen, you're muted.
Hi, I'm Jen. Let me try that again. Sorry about that.
I'm Ruth Mistress Leia.
And I'm the Geeky Hippie. Welcome back to What the Adaptation, the YouTube channel that tries to review adaptations from one format to another when we don't have flubs. But we're going to continue anyways because it's not too bad. This is live. It's fun that way. Welcome back. We're discussing episode 307, Goldeneyes of The Wheel of Time from Amazon Prime. First, let me just get this out of the way. What do you guys think of this episode overall?
Mixed bag.
I actually cried. And I don't cry.
Wow.
Max?
I enjoyed parts of it.
There you go.
Well, Max, what can you tell us about this episode?
Well, aside from the obvious what happened in the episode, which we'll get into later, the director for this episode is Ciaran Donnelly, who is a veteran of, directing this series.
He directed the Blood Snow, didn't he?
Yep. On here, I show he has directed Dark Along the Ways, Eye of the World, and he did Race of the Shadows, Question Crimson, Goldeneyes, and He Who Comes with the Dawn.
Wow.
Okay.
He's a busy man on this show.
Yep. And we also see on here that he did Vikings and the Tudors.
Which are both amazing shows.
Wow, I love
a
the
lot of
Tudors.
fun.
Haven't the pleasure of seeing Vikings yet, but I love the Tudors.
And then I go to the next episode scene here. We see that these are episodes he directed from the Vikings, which include some pretty pivotal episodes.
Wow. Excellent.
So he's worked with Rocco before, is what we're saying.
This is Dave Hill, the writer for this episode, who is also, written. Let's see,
Game of Thrones.
Yep. Yeah, wrote the episode for The Dragon Reborn, Daughter of the Night, and this episode, Goldeneyes. He was a staff writer primarily for Game of Thrones in season. I think it's season 5. He wrote an episode for season 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah.
Were those good seasons for Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Depends on who you ask.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
It really does depend on who you ask.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I do find it interesting that, like on my side, I definitely criticize some of the battles on seasons 1 and, what we've seen on the show. And then I noticed that the guy had experience for Vikings for a director.
Yeah, but it still does all the typical TV sins when it comes to battle on land, and it's not good. But
Vikings was phenomenal for battle scenes.
Yeah, but Vikings also weren't known for fighting in formation. And Children of the Light would have been fighting in formation, not willy-nilly. We have yet to see formation fighting on this show where we should have.
Yeah.
And I have issue with that. But we also have yet to even see the most basic defenses done properly. You have a palisade that's good, but you want to ditch in front of the palisade. Otherwise, the palisade's not really doing much.
Well, and I will, when we come to those points, I will counter with, I agree, but I will couch it with, how much time did they have? Like, they barely had time to create these palisades, let alone ditches. So if you go for one thing or the other, like, let's make the palisades and not the ditches, because the ditches are not going to do as much effectively as the palisades will. So,
did anyone else have anything on?
We'll get to that.
Their general impressions for the episode?
I overall actually like it, and I'm more positive about this episode than negative, which is not common for me on this show.
Correct.
for Glenn Bowie.
Yeah. Well, notice there is no Buey this week.
Shocker.
No, Buey.
No Buey.
Oh,
I will say it took it took me a little bit after the first watch to be like, what the fuck just happened? So many levels on so many levels.
Right.
I think this would be a great point. Like as a book reader, like if we read the book, like you can take out pause. Audiobook readers, we don't do that. We just like listen through and it's like we don't have time to digest. And the same thing with the show. Like if we could just if we took the time to like pause and be like, what the fuck is happening in this moment?
Right.
It would have been great. So all of those moments afterwards are just like digest, especially the conclusion.
Well, I did want to make a comment on the battle scenes.
I'll be right back, guys.
Yep.
First of all, I thought in general the choreography for them was very good.
Oh yeah,
it just was great. The one exception was the guy who was high flying after I guess Loyal had whacked him with his hammer. But other than that, I thought that one looked a little silly.
Are you talking about when he like slashed it?
Yeah, at the Waygate there. But other than that, I thought all the battle scenes looked really good. I was really impressed. The quick shots that they do of someone getting an arrow or axed or knifed. I thought the cutting or the editing for all that was really nicely done. You got a good image of what it was, but then they just moved on. I mean, you're in the frantic battle. I thought they did a great job with that.
All right. So here I have the first picture for the night is the overlooking camera going down on the village.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Definitely.
This was a nice establishing shot.
I think so.
And we can start to see the leaves turning color too.
Yeah, I love that.
And
Aaron did say it was the season of falling leaves.
he does.
I know he might have meant it figuratively, metaphorically at the time, but it was literally kind of true.
So far, like all of the shots for the two rivers, like even the very beginning in season 1 with the stream, returning back to the two rivers where Loyal is standing on a previous episode. He's like, this is where Manethrin was, when that overlooking shot with Bane and Chiat even talking about how they liked it there, even though it was a little bit too wet for them.
It was a little bit too green.
A little bit too green. I really, really loved like all of like the drone shot footage of the two rivers. They did a lot of drone footage for the two rivers, and all of it's just knocks it out of the park every time, takes my breath away. So this is
I have a quick question then about that shot in the previous episode.
Oh.
Did we have fall foliage down below? Do you remember?
Can't recall.
You just like the greenery? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, because as you said, it's very green, but now we're seeing a lot of fall foliage. I'm just wondering if there was some sort of disconnect.
It's been about a week, and anybody who's experienced the changing of leaves, like it happens.
Yeah, true.
Very quickly. So like you could be there and it's fully green one day, and then the next day like you're like, wow, this is green and red and orange and all the colors in between.
Okay.
So,
And then you go to look at the leaves and sneeze and they're gone.
exactly. Like a stiff wind blows through. So that wind that Robert Jordan writes will just blow them all away.
I will take your word for it as a Floridian. I will take your word for it.
The next scene here I have is our little training montage, little starter one. They come back to another montage later. We got that nice little puffed out lip as she's kind of spearing. And then after that, we see Perrin's axe forging.
Well, it shows proper preparation. So, like, they're not just... And that was one of the complaints that Mascom had was like, it's a bunch of farmers and sheep herders.
Mhm.
What are they going to do? And it shows the resolve and leads up to his speech when it's just him trying to rally them. So like their resolve, like and he's teaching them, he's witnessing this. Like they want to defend their lands. They're not just going to give in. They're not just going to like cow over and give up to the torrent that's very terrifying torrent that is about to come down on them.
I like how Alana's hair is fashioned like a helmet. They braided it and they did it in her, which is very battle. Matt, you had a really good picture of that, Max. I think a couple. No, the one. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I love how they did that. It's very battle ready. It's very Green Aja.
She's had that a couple of times, and I think that is very much in line with the mood boards that Davina and Sharon have put together for the Green Aja.
Do you think her warders help her do her hair? Because that looks pretty awful hard to do by herself.
Yeah, either that or she's using weaves to do her hair.
Yeah, he's got to be good at that by now.
Yeah, I mean he has a snack order, so like.
I will say this though, taking this screenshot was a pain because that guy kept running in the middle of the screen.
Right.
Great job, Max. Thank you.
Now I'm curious.
Rude extras.
Yeah. I'm curious. In the books, we did not get this level of preparation type text.
Yeah.
And does this work here kind of make up for the lack of Perrin going farm to farm on his way to the rescue? Does this kind of make up for that in any way?
Well, for me, what it makes up for, I think it would have looked a little silly on the show if all of a sudden all these people that we've established are just farmers and we're making the point they're just farmers, but at least from Maxim's point of view, all of a sudden start pulling out, pole arms and swords and spears from their barns and cellars and attics, which they actually do in the books. There's a ton of weapons in the two, and Emond's Field alone, and even armor. And I don't think it would have been believable on screen without having to add dialogue. Yeah, this just happened. We happen to have this, and so-and-so's great-great-great-grandfather. You'd have to explain it. And I think it would have taken up time.
Yeah.
That they didn't need to spend.
Yeah, I did like the fact that the Alsheen boys were in the forge with Perrin, preparing the weapons and such during this.
Too.
Yeah, that was this scene here. I did like Perrin kind of mansplaining the whole.
Yeah, there they are.
Yep. The stone before the leather.
Mm-hmm. I like that too.
And I will say Olver's ears, they do in the books talk about the training. So they're talking about the fletching and it's from Perrin's perspective. Perrin is laid up. So, and he hears it very secondhand about all the things that are going on. So Tam, unfortunately we couldn't have Tam, but Tam's out there, the warders are out there. There are people out, Abel, because Abel's not a drunk in the books. These people are out there helping the Two Rivers start to put things together. So they're able to put all the palisades together. They're able to create all of these things. And it's and it's not Perrin that's doing that. So Perrin is he's laid up with a deadly wound.
And I did like that they were still building some of the spiked barriers during this phase. So it was kind of nice to see, it wasn't just weapons training and all that.
They're working on all of the activities that will protect a town. Yeah.
In the next scene here, the Tuathon show up.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look like Tuathon, but okay.
Well, they mention specifically that the Tuathon and farmers show up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
it's the one place where I do think the costuming department has fallen short of what they should have done is with the Tuathon.
And here's Glenn's extra right there.
Yeah.
Sendiri.
We see our,
Great shots, Max.
Really good
Aram, our
shots.
favorite.
I was happy to see Aram and
Yep.
Isla.
Me too. Oh,
See,
and Illa. Yeah. She's
Yeah.
my Catherine of Aragon. I love her. So I'm like,
Oh my God, right? Yes. 100%. Girl,
She's
you
my
and me.
Mrs. S. She's my Siobhan from Orphan Black.
We see a Trolloc
Okay.
arrow in the cart.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
Notice the penetration of the arrow through that wood.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
So
Only
do
one
they
arrow,
not-
though.
Do they not touch weapons even to remove them from the wagon?
They would remove weapons. So yeah.
Hmm.
So they're willing, if they're not doing it in aggression, they're able to do that. So like removing.
At this point, they had said they were attacked, I believe, that morning, like a
Oh,
mile or
Night
two out of
before.
town.
Mhm.
yeah.
The night before.
The night before.
Which is driving them to the town. So
Yeah.
basically the tactic of overloading a town with people that they can't support.
Hmm.
And then and forcing them to find accommodations, which Perrin very quickly overcomes with the help of Alana.
And we know from the previous episode, I believe it was, that those three had just seen all the Trollocs enter or exit the Waygate
Right.
from the hill.
Yes.
Mhm.
So they're returning from that prior night.
Mm-hmm. Giving the intelligence that they needed, because we don't have Perrin doing the dream at this
Right.
point.
Oh, that's right. Perrin was doing that in the dream.
Perrin saw the camps in the dream, knowing that they were about to be overrun.
Well, and he'd also been fighting them for a few weeks out.
It was a much
Yeah.
more protracted
Now,
time frame.
do you guys think that we should have had at least some of Perrin out in the field chasing Trollocs and such?
No. I
I mean,
actually
the-
think that would have been a waste of time.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
book
Personally.
motivation was his family being
Mhm.
killed. And here, his family was saved by Tam and Abel, who I'm sure are going to come in like supermen to help rescue him.
Mhm.
And they already contracted the time. Like, he got hit by a Trolloc arrow, and that was poisoning him. So his like near mortal wound was by the White Cloak. So they already contracted that timeline.
Yeah.
If anything, I wish they would have done some intro to his dreaming.
Yeah.
I have
Instead of,
I
like,
have a
laying
point
low on
about
it.
Lord Luke and Teleran around in the dream, but I'll get to that later. That's something I wish
Yep.
they would have done. Just help remind me if I forget. Remind me.
I will remember.
Say
I think.
Lord
All right.
Luke and the dream and the wolves specifically. If I forget, help ping me in, guys, because my
Yeah.
brain is like sometimes.
I have that in my notes.
Okay. I did have one just kind of like that, just one thing, but it wasn't like a bitch. It was just like, and that was it.
But getting back to the training montage, I really appreciated how they did it. Like, they were very much demonstrating that the Two Rivers were learning things, and especially the Two Rivers snapping back and being like, "Hey, we can longbow."
Yeah. We haven't even got
Like
that scene yet.
I love that.
We have, but no, but this
Yeah.
is part of the training montage where
Yeah.
the sassiness comes in. So it's not
Yeah.
them executing the longbow; it's Mascom being like,
Yeah.
Well, I think what
That's actually
Max
coming
is-
up.
Yeah, what Max is talking about.
Yeah.
"I apologize for
yeah.
jumping the
You're
shark."
fine.
yeah.
Yeah, you're fine.
They do a lot of real quick cuts from one thing to something
Mhm.
else, then back in this show. I noticed there's quite a bit of that.
Oh, yeah.
Actually.
Because that brings me to here is we get a little quick dinner type scene with Illa, Aram, Perrin, Fail, and I can never remember Egwene's, I believe, mother.
Marin.
Marin.
Yeah.
And
She picks the bits out.
Yeah.
and
Doesn't do it for a
took this,
vegan.
But only for
sequence of
Illa. Only for Illa. apparently. And
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure it sure looked like Aram actually picked the bowl back up and started to eat.
Well, I took this series of shots here because we see her not eating her bowl,
Right.
from her bowl,
Yeah.
and she eyes Aram.
Mhm.
oh yeah,
And there's this body language going on where she's basically not telling him not to eat.
Yeah.
And he just puts down the bowl.
He did,
Mhm.
yes,
But
Well,
then
he
he
does.
picks
even-
it back up after the argument.
Mm-hmm.
even after the bits are picked out, and I think this comes down to like how much you want to stick to your dietary concerns. So like, yes, I picked out the meat bits, but it's still cooked in meat.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's like, thank you for considering that, but I just can't eat that. It's like, oh yeah, we
Right.
made this dish and it's all got pasta and we picked out all the pasta, but you're you have like an intolerance to gluten and you will have an explosive diarrhea reaction to this. But we picked out the pasta. And it's like, that's not
That's
helpful.
why-
Thank you.
That's
It's
why
also a
when I-
nice
Thank you.
foreshadowing for Aram here.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's why
for sure.
when I every year at the music festival I go to in the fall, I serve on Thursday night a big serving of goulash to a whole bunch of people. And there's a bunch of vegetarians and a couple of vegans in the group that I feed. So I always have a pot made that's vegetarian, vegan friendly. I won't even use the same utensils
You
Oh,
can't.
of course not.
between
Yeah.
the two. You don't cross contaminate it,
Of course not.
at
Yeah.
all.
Absolutely.
Very
So-
kosher of you. Very kosher.
Yeah, and it's like, as someone who can't stand shrimp, it literally makes me vomit. The idea of somebody just plucking the shrimp out of their gumbo and trying to serve me their gumbo scares me, because the flavor would just permeate that gumbo, and
yeah.
there's
So
no
I-
getting away from it.
I have the same reaction to mussels. It's been years since I've like touched anything with mussels, but like
Oh.
if there's something like, and it's only mussels, but I will have a very violent reaction to it.
Oh.
And like if things only even just touch. So like
The
I get it.
smell
I
of-
get the appreciation of like, let's not cross contaminate things.
So
Mhm.
do you think
Smell of
she
shrimp
used a
being cooked.
utensil to pull them out, or her hands?
Well, considering the sanitation levels of that world, either or, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you go back a couple episodes with Rand eating with the wrong hand situation.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he was eating with the left hand. You don't do that.
But that's an Aiel culture. So
Yeah.
that's not Two Rivers
Right.
culture.
Yeah.
So
Now, what did you guys think of that beautiful recovery that Perrin had in the conversation with right here? Yeah. And he goes on about how, their wagons will be refilled in the spring or something like that. I thought that was really, really nice, touching back on obviously something that he's thought about over the span of time since he was with the caravan. It just seems to me they're making Perrin a little more aware of what's going on around him. Because early on in season 1, he had no clue as to what was going on around him.
He was in a daze.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
well,
too.
in
Yes.
season 1, that makes sense because he only had the Two Rivers as a perspective, but it's making him a very empathetic character where he is taking on board all of all the people that have of the main, I guess they've all been through like multiple cultures, but he's really thinking about the cultures that he's impacting and forward thinking, like, yes, maybe now is bad, but I've thought about this, and the wave the leaf will continue on. So like, yes, we're in a fall period for you, but there will be a spring period for you.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful concept.
Mhm.
So and that alludes back to it wasn't very obvious in the books, but Perrin's struggle with the Way of the Leaf and
Mhm.
his constant going back to it in his head. So it wasn't overt, but you could see his, like, those of us who have read the books one or two times, like we understand his struggle with wanting to go back with that concept of the Way of the Leaf.
Just to add to that, in the books, Perrin's constantly in his head, and they can't show that, but this is how they can show that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
did anyone else have anything to talk about that particular dinner scene, or?
I do.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty. Is this the one where Alana was saying?
Oh no, that's about the Tink.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
All
You know what I'm talking about, because there is a sassy comment.
So we had the Ale doing this when they're looking on at Aram.
Yeah. It's kind of like oh, if you only knew. This
is the part where they kind of spit, and then we have Loyal just looking like that.
Yeah. I liked Loyal wasn't happy or comfortable with any of the conversation going on there at that moment, including the hand talk that apparently he understands.
Yeah.
I kind of felt he understood more about the Tuathan relationship with Ale than he's letting on.
I think the Ogier know the truth.
They
just think they don't. I've always felt that the Ogier knew the truth about the Aiel and the Tuathan. One thing I wanted to say though, I very much appreciate the fact that only the Aiel so far this season have used that other T word for the Tuathan. I don't like using the word tinker because it is in the real world and in the setting a derogatory term.
It is.
And so I tend to avoid it, and it's kind of become a thing for me on getting people to stop using that other T word and just say Tuathan.
Yes. Which makes sense.
But I appreciate the show is focusing on that. Yes.
They also the Aiel also call them the lost ones very frequently. So
yes. But that's the Aiel point of view on them.
Yes.
Everybody else since season 1 they haven't used tinker. Except for coming from the Aiel so far that I've noticed.
Good observation. I didn't notice that. It's awesome. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
And I have to thank AP Canavan for pointing out that it's a derogatory term in the real world. That's how I learned about it.
It is. And if you come to our panel at JordanCon on fascism, we're going to talk about words that use otherism, and tinkers is one of them.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make one comment about the Bane and Chiad pair. A+ for this episode.
I like Chiad and Bane in this episode.
Everything they did, just A+.
Agreed. They were perfect.
Absolutely.
And I can't call them Bane and Chiad because Bane and Chiad is Grace. This is Chiad and Bane.
Okay.
That's how I keep them separated in my head. So it's a little OCD I've got.
So Chiad and Bane absolutely were 100% phenomenal. And I will actually be pissed at the show if they make Chiad and Bane less than what they should be, because it is so understated in the books how badass they are, because they are just there doing the things that they need to do. It's very much behind the scenes. And here, I just love their handmaidens talk. Oh, sorry, we're not there. Max, I'm sorry. I'm jumping.
Oh, you're fine. I'm just thinking that I feel
jumping.
I just feel sorry for Gaul if he ever shows up in the show.
I know. I was thinking
next to Gaul, they are my favorite Aiel. So
I just feel so sorry for him.
And they just lost their Gaul. So okay, we save that. Somebody write that down and save it for the end of this whole thing.
Carry on.
We have this little scene here with Alana, the two girls, and Days in the background. And then she catches her and basically
Mhm.
that little interaction.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Boy, those girls grew up fast.
They certainly
Oh, yeah.
did.
Wow.
And Days is all like, "Do I have to quit drinking?"
Yeah. I like that.
Oh, Days, first of all, said she wasn't going to quit drinking.
Yeah.
She
Right.
wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked the
but-
New Days. The New Days.
I
worked for
liked
me,
her.
too.
She did a really good job this episode.
It's too bad she died.
You said
She
the
went
New
out like a
Days.
boss. She went out
Is
like
this
a
a
boss.
different
though.
actress?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
recast Days Congar.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Like
But
half
they
of the
didn't-
Two Rivers seems to have been recast.
They
The
didn't
characters
really
were-
have a Days Conger proper in the first season. So they just had a bunch of women circle.
Mhm.
And I think they did name some of them, like some of the women that
Right.
had lines, they named them. But I feel like it wasn't official at that point.
Okay.
So,
Mm.
So
if
this,
that makes sense, like it was official, but it wasn't official.
so
Mhm.
this Mandy Simons who plays her is not the one who we saw in
pretty sure
season
not.
1 in the
Mm-mm.
end.
Oh, even Egwene's mother is recast too. So
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was extremely apparent. I loved the season 1. Not this other woman is doing an excellent job. Apparently, the first woman that was doing Egwene's mom, Mr. Silver, she had another previous engagement. She had already agreed to be acting elsewhere. So unfortunately, they did have to recast her because of conflicting schedules. But I also like this one lady as well. To me, though, she just doesn't seem old enough. That's a compliment. She seems too young.
Yeah.
Just to be Egwene.
Well, and also let's talk about a little bit of ageism. Like you don't have to be a haggard old lady to have a 20-year-old daughter.
no.
So,
Yeah,
like I'm 42 and technically I could have a 20-year-old daughter.
true.
So,
Me too.
and like I know many people my age who do have 20-year-old children.
Yeah.
So,
That's true.
Yeah, but the one with children are the ones who look haggard.
yeah. So, very serious. I'm going to say this: like, you're not the archetype of people with 20-year-old daughters, but I feel like that's what they like cast. Like, you have to be old. Tam is like you and Tam are about the same age, right? So, but
me
he's got Rand.
and Tam.
Yeah.
Oh no, Tam's
No, but
a
you
youngster.
guys look the same age.
Oh,
I
okay.
think Tam would be closer in age to me, to be honest. I'm the one who's just over 50. Mitch is a significant amount older than me.
Thank you. Nicely put.
I had to think about the best way to put it there.
But I will say I think the shows tend to overcast age difference.
kind of thing on that. They could have cast Margase as someone who's like in their 30s.
I always pictured Elizabeth Mitchell myself, but
I
Oh,
always
It's a channeling thing,
pictured,
but
Lucy Liu.
Hmm.
Anyways, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go on.
all right, here we have the training scene we were talking about earlier. The hold your line repeatedly. Glenn
I will
Bowie,
say-
hold your bloody line.
I will
like
say
that.
the thing of Mascom and the fact that he was disbelieving about the Two
Mhm.
Rivers
cocky
longbow
smile.
proficiency. He
I love
would have been a tactical expert and he would have known these things, so he wouldn't have questioned. I do understand that as a show device, but like having him question it and then like being like, okay, cool, like you did it, awesome. Also, if you were questioning it, you wouldn't let them actually fucking do it. So,
Just, like I said, just that cocky smile.
Yeah. They
I
did
mean,
well acted.
I just want to like make
out.
out with that face. I want to make out with that face right
It's
now.
unfair that he's that pretty.
Right.
So when he did that, I kind of wished we had seen a test scene of them showing their bow proficiency.
Thank you. Yes,
I wish
that's
we
what.
had seen it as
That's
well.
exactly what they should have done.
Just
I
you know,
agree.
him showing off his bow skill, and then Sen Bowie just showing him up. Like, what the fuck?
That
Yeah,
would have been
I would've
beautiful.
What would have
loved
made it even
that.
better is if
Me too.
Maxim couldn't even draw the bow that
Yes,
Sen Dewey
that would-
then
Thank
yeah.
you.
draw.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes.
Because
It
it's
would-
not entirely about strength; it's also about technique.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. So and again, like him,
I agree.
whether or not Mascom would have known about the Two Rivers longbow phenomenon, he would not have let them go into battle and had them be point people, whether if he had not previously tested their skills. So like,
Right.
and again, maybe this was something that got cut. I don't know.
Yeah, my garden.
Um,
And that's all possible. And that's kind of one of the things I was kind of going for with like the director of this episode, like their expertise, not expertise,
technique is everything. I can
with the
attest
Viking
to
show that there could have been other stipulations with producers and all that other stuff as to why they didn't do more. They could have.
Yeah, I agree. That would have been cool. That would have been cool. I was almost hoping for it when I saw the scene. I was like, "Are we gonna get it? Yeah, let's."
I know. Well, yeah, like Sen Bowie, Glenn Bowie was shit talking, and Mascom's like, okay, and then just like cut scene. It's like, okay, what the fuck?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
I understand that complaint, but honestly, it didn't bother me.
Okay.
It's not something that It's weird because usually I'm the one who's got complaints left and right about every fucking episode of this show. But
That is what
these are things that just don't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd put it
I
as-
understand the complaint, but I don't feel it.
Obviously, Sen is getting too old to complain. That's just a shame.
Because this episode clocks in at what was it?
I thought it was 108.
That's what I was trying to find out here. Because I think they could have added even a 2-minute scene with that and easily have shown it. And it just would have added
we
that
know
much
they
more to it.
filmed it and it got cut,
And
which
I
isn't
mean-
like I said,
always the
that's entirely
director's
possible.
fault or the showrunner's fault. It could also be the editor didn't think it worked.
No, it comes out in that it says here 1 hour even.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Just gonna double check.
Oh
that here.
yeah, so they could have like easily done 8 more minutes.
1 hour even for this episode.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
could have
So
easily
they
done
could
8
have
more minutes.
Easily done like a 5-minute scene with that.
I honestly like you just need like a 30-second scene of Sen Bowie launching and Mascom being like, okay, cool.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
you don't even have dialogue. It could just all be, and that's one thing that I really do love about the show is the non-verbal communication that everybody does.
Mhm.
So like they
Just
have
like
been
communication.
Yes.
In the first place, yeah.
Yes.
so
yeah,
so
the nonverbal
non-wheel of
communication.
time.
That's a change I don't mind adding.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Wolf's Head flag.
I
Little
like her
trail of
the
deception.
explanation. I'm falling for show Fayo more than I ever liked book Fayo.
I know. I love this file. I
they're
agree.
condensing all the best parts of Fael into this because they just bickered so
Mhm.
much for so long.
But she's also got an accent that makes me melt.
I mean, yeah, right.
Yeah, she could read a dictionary to me and I would be happy.
Yeah, but she is, she is being the argumentative fail.
Mhm.
I've got, what have I got about her? Yeah, I have my notes say she has good banter with Perrin.
Right, Rosa? Exactly.
Very argumentative, and I have a specific thing. I don't think it's in this conversation, so I won't bring it up. Yet she's also supportive.
Mhm.
And it's not even argumentative. It's because argumentative may mean like I'm just arguing for the sake of arguing. She is very much questioning his choices with the purpose of him trying to make better choices. So she is very much being a very good second. And like sometimes in the book, she's just arguing for arguing. And so in the show, she is like, I am asking you questions. I'm saying things like to make you think about your choices. And it's much more targeted. It is much more like further on in the books, Fael, where they have a better relationship, where Perrin actually understand, like they understand each other a little bit better. They've pulled that relationship forward.
I would like to
feel,
I would like to have seen the really obnoxious Fael for at least some period of time, though.
We'll get that.
I think we're getting parts of it. But
I have an opinion on why they don't do that now. I think that may come later, and I think it's because they don't want the jump from their decision of Layla and her. They want the audience to like Fael at first. Because
that makes sense.
Fael is already in the show viewer's mind a potential like who no Layla, you know.
Why are you automatically in love with somebody else now?
Already, damn boy, calm down. So they don't want that opposition in the viewer's mind. So they're making that, and she's still, but it's 100% in character, 100% Fael, 1000% believable. Maybe her like the way that she views a relationship is you have to fight in order to really show appreciation for each other. We'll get to that. Like, you know what I mean? Later. But right now, I mean, they don't want so much of an opposition between the Layla and her right now. So I think that may be a reason why they've made those decisions. It's just an opinion, though.
Well, and the short timeline. So they don't have what was in the books where it was like months and months and months of them traveling together. This is 2 or 3 weeks, and they are very passionate about each other very quickly.
I like that.
Yeah. Part of me says like I feel like they're getting more to where he was trying to go with her character and her personality versus what he actually wrote.
Yes, that is a great way to put it. That is a great way to put it.
I agree.
Especially like what she said during this episode, and like it just that's kind of where I feel like with this. Like
I agree.
Yeah. Okay.
The next picture here, 2 Earths back. All I gotta say.
Yep. Love showing it.
Yep. And I'm still not convinced that's not the Wacky Tobacco.
I'm not convinced that it's not either.
Wait, go back to the picture.
I feel like this is general head canon, if not official canon for everyone. It is. I feel like everybody who's watching this that's our head canon is like it's the.
It makes you hyper focused. Lets you shoot bow really well, gives you steady hands.
When I talk about that product in real life, I say 2 Rivers to back to my friends who know what it means. And they're like, oh, yeah, get 2 Rivers to back.
Yep.
So.
Well, I was going to say.
Shire pipeweed.
Yeah. That hat is something definitely Cheech Marin would wear over there in East LA.
I love the hat. I want the hat for myself.
That's a savvy hat.
Yeah.
Super. Yeah.
We get another amazing shot.
Gorgeous.
All right. So can we pause here real quick? Because I know I was on the Black Tower Watt fantasy draft before, and they were talking about, I think what we may talk about later, there's only so many accesses into the 2 Rivers, and this shows that it is some of the accesses are very precarious, and setting up ambushes onto attacking forces may be difficult, especially knowing how quickly you can get your forces back. So anyways, so this picture is perfect for setting up that basis of a conversation that we can come back to if we have questions about that.
Well, and I think they established that there are 2 ways into Emmons Field, whatever they want to call the village.
Yes.
And one is through the pass, which is, I'm assuming, coming from here.
Yes.
And then the other one is the open section, which is where the Tuatha came in.
Which they had blocked off via barricades.
Well, they had barricades across the pass, but they had the big gate for the open field that was out in front of them. Were there any kind of barricades on that? Because when they opened those doors, it looked like it was wide open and the wagons were coming in.
There was some barricades, but I mean, they came to the palisade at the gate at the palisade at the gate.
A barricade isn't the right thing. I'm referring to those
the smaller units,
those crisscross spikes.
Smaller units.
Yeah,
the little piece is almost like giant like multiple caltrops put together.
Yeah,
I don't remember what those are called offhand.
My question on this picture is, I wonder how much of this is like real geography here.
I think 100%.
I think this is an actual picture from the.
I know they're on location.
Yeah, the Czech.
Somewhere
I'm pretty sure there's
Republic.
Probably a road. Maybe they drew in a
waterfall. Maybe the waterfall is real.
Oh, I was going to say the road. I was going to say the waterfall was real.
Because you know how like
the road may or may not be real.
You know, like a Xena Warrior Princess and then Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings really brought like film to New Zealand.
Yeah.
This could bring film out to there.
I'm thinking this is the Carpathian Mountains, which I think the Czech Republic just touches a little bit on its southern end.
This is where my geography is like shot.
Yeah.
My American standard school upbringing just fails me here.
Slovenia is where the two rivers. Sosa, I think is out, or Soka, I'm not sure. It's SOC with this little curved thing above it. Valley, Soka Valley or Sosa Valley in Slovenia.
I'm just looking at this like we've never seen this in filming before, kind of thing.
Yeah, I love it.
Moving on here, we get the overview of them coming into that pass we were talking about.
Yeah, I think this is the mountain pass. Yeah.
Drink number 1.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Oh, hold on. I got a drink with Dane. Sorry.
You're good. You're good.
Oh, it's gonna be a fun night for you.
I'm your local drunk.
Yeah.
And of course they get
but also going back to that, like I think the previous picture, like this shows why they would not be able to do guerrilla tactics because the incoming is so steep. It would be like at least immediately in front of the barricades, not necessarily like what's further back, but it is. I'm assuming the pass would be steep like that, and that's what the discussion is.
Yeah, I would assume the only thing you could do would be roll boulders down from way up high or something.
And then you're dispersing your forces so much, and you've only got limited forces. If you had thousands of people as opposed to hundreds of people, you could do that. Hundreds of people, you want to concentrate them on very strategic points, which Perrin does outline before the scene that we see. He's like, we're doing this, and then we're moving back, and then we're doing this, and then we're moving back, and then we're doing this.
I understand the point tactically of having the two sets of barricades here at the mountain pass, because you're stopping a choking point for your opponents, and then barricade that you're hiding behind so you can mow them down with arrows. My issue with the way it was presented on the show is those two sets of barricades are way too close. That's practically point blank range with a short bow, not a long range like of 100, 200 yards where they could make true use of the longbow. So that was one of the, but you can't get that big a space in as close of a close-up shot as
it's not cinematic.
It's not cinematic enough. So it's one of those cinema sins, for lack of another term, that
Well, and it's not even the
every
scene. Yes, but
filmmaker
yes.
does when it comes to filming battles and stuff. I've just watched too many things picking apart battles in movies and TV. I can't help but do it myself now.
So
those barriers look so cool.
So
Yeah,
here's my critique on the barriers is those logs are very straight.
Yeah.
And they drilled holes through the logs.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure where or how they managed to collect that lumber, peel all the wood off it, make it that straight, shove it through the log. That takes a lot of time.
Takes a lot of time.
You could have saved a lot more time just chopping the ends off and basically tying it to the log.
Yeah.
Yes, it's probably a lot more sturdy that way, but that takes a lot of workmanship.
Yeah, I was like, it was really kind of the Trollocs to give them that much time ahead of before they decided to storm.
And we do see some like less straight wood, like we see it on the right hand side. And like that's probably where you're gonna see those complaints about things are very neat looking or clean looking. Like that's an example of that.
Yeah, and Bill made a good point. There was in the preparation phase, and a guy with an adze who was straightening out a log.
Yeah. Totally agree. But I do think this is one thing that we could possibly hand wave. Like maybe like again, this is hand waving, like hypothesizing. Like in the reconstruction of the two rivers, maybe they had straightened things out. So like had logs that they were attempting to rebuild homes with and so and they converted them. So like there are hand wavy things. That's not something that I would like.
Yeah. The other thing I mentioned is Dane is like Legolas. He does not know Perrin's name, or he does. Yeah, he's Legolas doesn't know Frodo's name.
Can we also just start counting all of the Lord of the Rings references that we have there? this is the first one.
Yeah.
Somebody besides me, or am I the designee now?
No, I know
Double
Lord of the
correction
Rings,
from
but
Gnome.
I haven't picked up any real things other than
oh my god. Okay, so all right,
who was a drinker in the Lord of the Rings?
All of them?
Merry and Pippin.
Yeah.
All of them?
Well, no, I'm thinking outside of the core group.
Okay.
Comparing to Dane at this point.
Dane drinks like Gimli.
Legolas.
I'll be right back in. Looks like I had to leave to add the second slide for some reason.
Okay.
Legoleg? Legolam?
Come here, sweet girl. Sorry.
What you got coming up on your lap?
Well, she decided she wanted to come up with it, and she was like, no, you're writing things. And
okay, I don't know if any of you have read it or know about it. There's a book that came out ages and ages ago called Board of the Rings.
National Lampoon, I believe, or is it Harvard Lampoon?
Harvard Lampoon. And it is just funny as all get out.
Off color, inappropriate.
Legolas's name is Legolam. Gimli is Giblet.
And it's not appropriate for anybody under 16 to read.
Oh, it's good for anybody.
I got it I found it at the age of 12, and I was like, oh, okay.
It is funny as hell, and if you ever get the chance, if you ever come across it, buy it. It's worth it. And it's only, maybe 48 pages long, if that.
Yeah, it's short.
Yeah. You knock it out in 2 hours.
All right. We get the
Does not
little
surprise me, Gnome.
Little scene here with Brother Book and 2Ale here, where they go over his writing his book here, and he agrees to play Maiden's Kiss.
One of the first things I noted about the scene is, well, besides being excited, it was like, oh my god, he's playing. But how awful.
Look how sad he is.
He looks just like he's physically haggard. Yeah, like he's got the bags under the eyes. He's like super jerpy.
And he's a southpaw. Who would have thought?
I didn't notice he was left-handed. Interesting. Okay, cool.
Yeah. He's writing with his left hand.
Yes, he is.
Yep. And we do get a tiny mention about the Amonel Thorin.
I love that they kept that. I'm like, just like you'll think that way in the books. That's interesting. I like how they keep that. Yeah.
Moving on from that, we do get a scene Leia was mentioning.
You know,
the last couple episodes,
I liked their interactions in almost everything up until like the last 3 episodes. But the last 3 episodes, these two have just grated on me, and I don't know why. I usually like their stuff, but it just hasn't worked for me the last 3 episodes.
Well, it's because they're grieving individually and not talking about it, which is frustrating. So like, and you just want to be like, again, Wheel of Time, like just talk to each other. So like they're on their own grief path and they're trying to still relate to each other, and this is the perfect them coming back together.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good. So like and that's why the past couple of episodes have been frustrating. It's because like you just think of them as just like, oh, we're a couple, so it's all gonna work out. Like, and that's not how fucking life works. Like shit gets between you sometimes, and it's not comfortable. And life happens, and you may or may not tell your partner to like, okay, just go. Like, I'm gonna do my thing. Like, you just go do your thing. But
that might be it. I don't know.
And so now they've come back together. So in this scene, like with like
I love it.
And Mascom's like, I've got a snack for you. Like, let me eat it. And then you have to eat it from my mouth. And I was like, okay, can we be more sexy? Like, can we like keep going with the scene? Like, seriously,
I'm curious.
Keep watching this a little bit more.
Yeah.
And
which of those two do you think is better at tying a cherry stem into his knot?
Mascom 100%. So
my question for you all is, on this scene, do you think Alana ad-libbed this?
You bitch.
I thought the same thing. I thought she did. I think they're good friends IRL, and I think she probably did. Yeah, that's funny.
I was surprised to see a gendered insult used on this show. To be honest, that's the first time I can think of it. Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
I think he's supposed to give
other than calling Aes Sedai witches, that's a gendered insult too, technically. But I hadn't seen bitch used.
Yeah,
I think he was supposed to give her the fig, and then he ate it, and she called him that.
Yeah.
It's not the only first and a swear word we get this episode. No, we get our first F-bomb, but it's not spoken out loud.
Oh, well, when we get to that, I have a comment. But also, I don't really consider like you bitch like that. It's not a derogatory term in this context. It's a term of endearment, and those are two very like you can use the word in two very different things. As many words. Yeah, like whether or not it was scripted or I have no idea. So I don't care. I loved it. I love this scene.
They're definitely doing some weird stuff here.
Yeah.
What do you mean weird stuff?
Weird stuff.
What is weird?
Anything not missionary, probably for Max.
It's not food play, but there is a term for it for kink.
Oh. Well, it's
through the bond.
It's using things like props, like using things as, but also it's just like.
Well, it's because he ate through the bond and enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think between the two of them, this is just play. It's banter.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
Getting to this point here was, I was thinking, okay, how far are they going to take this? And luckily they didn't go further, because I think that would have ruined it.
But I also think it's amazing because they have both come over this huge grief of, and they're still going through it, of the loss of Ivan, and they have both individually questioned how they could move forward, and they've both done drastic things in their grief, and this is them recentering and coming back together as a couple, and we'll see how they move forward.
Yeah. Well, I thought the biting of the ear bit was very indicative of the beginning of the reset.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was a nice way to introduce it.
Yeah.
And they can go forward from there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yes.
And that's kind of where here they're making something new.
Oh, yes. Oh.
Yep.
That was a good line.
Oh. Okay. I'm good.
Jen,
I'm fine.
serious.
I'm fine. It's fine. We're all fine. We're all fine.
Jen,
Where
you
is
look
my
really
fan?
serious.
I actually do have a fan.
I was about to say, I see what you're saying with as far as the so much screen time devoted to Alana and Maxim at this point. At this point, like, it would be toward anybody though. I just
I'm not opposed to the screen time.
I kind of I'm like, okay, it just seems like they're in so much of what's happening in the Two Rivers, and Alana's supposed to be there, but it was just like, I just wanted to get to the Two River stuff. But that's
I get you.
All right. Here I got 19 screens. I'm just going to kind of go through them. We have Perrin sharpening his axe. He starts looking up, eyes the hammer, and then behind him he sniffs Fail.
Here's Fail.
Yep. And she makes a comment about her father fearing fighting Trollocs, but
I love this.
Her not being afraid of Trollocs because she's not a big baby.
Yeah,
exactly. I love that bit. It's like, it's okay to be afraid. Are you afraid? Of course not.
Yeah, here she is pushing his buttons, but in a way
she's
that
sassing him.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in a good way, and in a way that makes sense, and
in a way that's winning my heart.
And I was going to mention that's our classic book fail right there.
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, here.
Because she brings up like with Layla and stuff like that and makes him mad, but she's saying, no, we're not going to keep this as a taboo subject, as you guys were talking about earlier. She's like, I'm going to communicate with you about her. We're not just going to pretend that she never existed. She's part of something that you think about, and we're gonna talk about it. I like that.
But also using Layla, like Layla was a strong badass bitch, and give her the credit she deserves, and also give me the credit that in the subtext is give me the credit that I deserve, which pays off on that epic line in the future, which we will get to. Yeah. But like this is the conversation that she's having with Perrin.
And it's interesting. It's interesting that she opened up the bit with Layla as a swipe. I mean, she took a shot at him with that. It's like, here's a punch in the nose. Pay attention, and she got his attention.
Yeah,
pissed him off.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, he got up,
and that's the push and pull of that relationship. That
there's a pun for you.
Hey, Mr. Stovey, sexy lady.
How you doing,
but
Mr.
yeah,
Stovey?
it is the definitely not trying to spoil what happens later in the books, but like they because we've already talked a little bit about this, but
I like that
they,
line, yeah.
Well, we are full book spoilers, are we not?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
oh,
Yeah.
Tonight
That
we
was
can
really
be.
well acted between the two. I really
Okay.
If necessary,
Yeah, so-
if necessary, go full book spoiler.
yeah. So, so later in the books, when they really, like, Elias comes in and starts talking to Perrin and being like, hey, you need to understand these things about the Borderlanders.
Yeah.
And these, like, and the relationships that they have. And I've had a relationship with a Borderlander woman, and, like, it took me a little while. Like, he gave some good relationship wisdom.
Mhm.
That took forever, and I think that's why people get frustrated with the relationship between Perrin and Fael in the books. Is it takes them a long time, Perrin, a long time to understand Fael. Fael understands Perrin very well early on, and she accommodates, which I think frustrates women. Jen, back me up.
If it's not a push and pull, yes. If it's and if it's going more towards one direction, yes. Like, I want you to acknowledge my accommodation, and I want you to foresee something that you could do for me in return, and we can do that for each other. If I'm just accommodating, and A, it's not being recognized, and B, you're like, oh, thanks.
Fael's been very accommodating in the books.
That's not good. I agree with you. Yes.
I mean, so anyways, so they're pulling that understanding forward. Again, a lot of their dynamic is part of that plot line, so we'll see what happens.
See, I think they're going to ignore and skip all the relationship confusion that Perrin and Fael had that pissed off so many readers, because so many readers didn't understand what was going on. The whole thing of Perrin smelling Fael's emotion, and everybody getting mad at Fael for having that emotion, yet Fael hides that emotion in the books. She doesn't act upon it.
But
Perrin just knows it because Perrin's cheating because he can smell it. You know, and if it wasn't for the fact that Perrin could smell it, we wouldn't know Fael was jealous over this or angry about that, you know. And so I've always felt she got a bad rap. I've defended Fael ever since she was introduced in the books.
I like Fael too.
Yeah.
I've been a
Some
long
people
time
don't,
Fael
and I
defender.
understand, but I happen to like Fael, so
I
get
love
it.
Fael. I've never understood the hatred.
I like later book Fael, and I've come to understand early book Fael, if that makes sense.
She was a teenager.
Yep.
Well, the interesting thing though is Perrin is very, very slow to develop, and she accelerates the development. She really does.
Yeah, Perrin is his plot line. I've always blamed it on the fact that there was so much that Rand and Matt were doing that Perrin had to be a little bit slow. Anyway, Perrin suffered in the thruple of advancement, and really as far as quickly gaining maturity. But
well, actually, it's not so much that development as it is the development of becoming a leader and such. But it does apply to the more social graces too, does it not?
It does. Yeah. It does. No, he relies so much on his wolf sense that he doesn't understand so many other things.
I'm not going to say that they're going to completely ignore his use of smelling emotions, but I think they're going to play it down compared to what we got in the book.
It's
a lot.
That is very hard to portray. So,
yeah.
I mean, they did it okay later in this episode with Aim and Valda, but even that was a little clunky.
Oh yeah, they did.
We're not there yet. Yet.
Okay.
Either way, I'm just gonna mention here, like, this is the end scene here that I really enjoyed with their interaction.
After
she goaded him with Layla's death.
Yeah.
Just the part where she says that she doesn't need saving.
Right.
I really felt that struck home with how he needs to readjust his view on both her and others around him.
Yes.
And it actually pays off a little later too, when once again they're in the forge together.
Yes, yes. When he makes his comment, which we will not get to yet. We're gonna
I'll tell you that for me, that's one of the highlights of the whole thing. But
I agree.
And then moving on here,
Yes.
we have Maiden's Kiss, which kind of is semi-related to Alana and Maxim's Fig in a way.
Oh,
as he keeps pulling away from the kisses.
But I was so surprised when he initially said that he was like going to do it. I was like, all right, so like he wants like some sexy time. And
I've never seen it. Go ahead. Sorry.
And then it comes down to this scene where he starts pulling away, and I was like, and it is so well scripted, like how because even like I don't know, I'm sure other people picked up on like he was trying to get them to he was trying to break Gieto and like make them do something that he would not they would not have towed to him.
Well, I
or Chied specifically.
I was disappointed that Rufus or Soleil did not give them permission to do that.
You know what? It's like it's not about who I give. They have to settle their Gieto on their own. So
I don't think I've ever seen a more disappointed look on somebody's face on this show than Chied when he turned. My goodness, she looked absolutely devastated that he turned away from her. I'm just like, ouch.
Didn't she kind of brag? Oh, he'll do it for me.
Yes. Like, oh, I will convince him to kiss me. And like, and she does nothing, but she just leans in. That is so Aiel also, by the way.
You know, when
like,
she wouldn't need the spear to my neck for me to kiss her, so that's all I can say. That's for sure.
Oh, Loyal was really sticking to his guns on this one. Like, props to Loyal on this for not making out with either of them.
When she pulls the reverse Uno on this part here, it kind of reminds me of, say, like kindergarten, first graders, and they like just make up new rules.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what Loyal was trying to do. He's like, I'm making up rules. Like, I just saved your life, but you just saved my life. You just saved my life by not killing me because I wouldn't kiss you. Also,
it's not making up new rules. It's creative interpretation.
It's cricket
rules. Nobody knows the rules to that game.
Exactly, it's cricket.
But he didn't realize. He didn't realize.
Exactly.
Aiel are the masters of Gieto. So, like,
it's basically cricket and first graders making up new rules as they go along. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Oh no, Ben. Do you know? Ben will have to come on and explain cricket to us one of these days.
Well, I did like how Bane.
You take a drink every time you get confused.
Yeah, I did like the way Bane figured out how to get around this little play that Loyal had set up, and you know, you could kind of see it clicking in her mind, and the two actresses work so well together.
They really do. They're so perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, they really.
They are the perfect Bane and Chied.
Yeah, they are first sisters. They exchange the look and then go forward. It's
and all the hand talk.
Yeah,
I like
they don't subtitle. I love that sometimes they subtitle it, but then sometimes they don't.
Me too.
But we know that they are doing a clear, like, they're actually saying something, and eventually one of us will go back and be like, this is what they're saying, because they will Pavara it.
We need someone to do that.
Yeah, not me.
Has anybody bothered to try to do that yet? I mean, there may not have been enough to draw from yet, but
we us Aiel have talked about it. We have not actually gone back and like and actually like none of us are experts on like sign language or all that sort of stuff. So like the understanding of like translating words, I think we would actually need, and this is something on Thankful Talk that we're talking about, like trying to get the gentleman who created the sign language come on and like help us understand more and understand a little bit more about the signing. Oh, and that's something that on Thankful Talk we're very interested in.
That was going to be my next question. Do we know who did it?
Okay. Yes. So on season 2, there was a whole video about it's actually 2 people, and one of them is an actual British Sign Language. Like he's like they're actually like they use it regularly, and then another one who is a professional on translating it for the screen. And so the 2 of them came and talked with like the content creators, so like the writers, and then also not the writers, like the whoever on they needed to talk to about it, but also the actors, like, and then they had this mutual back and forth on the language and how it would make sense. And so based off of British Sign Language, they created a lot of the signs and the language. So, and the actors, so Iola, Raga, and Maja would actually start signing to each other in the language.
Oh, how fun!
Yeah, so like they really embodied like, so they would actually like start signing to each other.
So before we move on, Jen, did you have anything about the Loyal Maiden's Kiss scene? Or
yes, I really liked it because I wasn't sure when he was like, all right, I don't think I'm ready for Maiden's Kiss. I'm like, where's this coming from? But then because they got me. I didn't understand that that's where they were going with it at first, that it's a drop. I didn't understand it. So when it finally happened and it happened, I was like, good job. You guys got me. It was well acted. I like what he did. Everything was perfect. It all fit within character. Great job. So yeah, that was it.
I think they got everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was very.
So here we got the scene where Perrin showing the 2 sisters Matt's goat bladder or sheep bladder. Sorry,
giggling. The girls had me giggling. Their giggling made me giggle.
Yeah,
I couldn't help it.
I purposely took this screenshot where it says "Your brother blew it."
That's great. Perfect.
And
this
sounds like one too.
It's like the perfect sibling thing. Like, it's so great.
100%.
That's just siblings all the way.
And making fun of the brother, it's just
not just the brother, it's the sisters.
Yeah.
Making fun of the brother.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I have 2 sisters. Believe me, I know.
If it were younger brothers, it'd be one thing, but these are younger sisters, or even older sisters.
I have 2 younger sisters.
Yeah.
Believe me, I know.
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
Great.
Oh, they would never give me a break.
No.
One thing I've noticed about the Coffin girls is they are bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them. I actually kind of like it, but I think it's funny that they're as bloodthirsty as they are. When do we get fireballs? That was better than lightning.
Well, I think a lot of it is trauma.
Yeah, I like I said, I don't blame them one bit. I just find it kind of, in a bad kind of way, it's a little bit funny just how bloodthirsty they were.
Mm-hmm.
But also, why not?
Yeah,
like, what they've been through.
Yeah, exactly.
2 years they were playing with matches. Now they want to throw fireballs.
But getting back to the scene, like it's just so. It gets back to like how many times are they talking about Matt blowing the horn? Like, seriously, learn your lesson. Stop sharing this information. It's not good information to share. That being said, it's just so freaking adorable.
I like that.
Now,
All the sassiness.
I heard somebody say that they were wondering if the writers had the banter with the girls set up because the community made so much fun of how the horn looked when we finally saw it.
I was actually going to ask, what do you think the possibility of they had that banter set up before they made the horn?
That would
No,
be funny, but I don't know.
I don't think so.
It had been like a year, at least a year before.
Uh-oh.
So they definitely knew that we were like, it looks weird. And I've unconfirmed rumors, but there's a couple of things that I've heard in the episodes that from the episodes that they've like done little fan service. So like Mascom and his snack order, like hypothetically, like it's because Taylor is the snack order. So it's like we're doing this because he is the snack order and you had a whole calendar for it.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just kind of wonder like what the possibility of like they had that joke developed a season in advance just to do that joke.
I want to give them credit for like giving fan service, which again, like, we're manifesting season
that
5.
banner was a response to the fan
All right.
reaction.
Folks,
Totally.
I can't switch between my Excel worksheets anymore. My mouse died, so I have to get a battery. I'll be right back.
All right. Okay. All right.
I can't even cancel this. I have to stay alive.
Well, I'm going to move on
Yes,
to
to
the
stay
next
alive,
one if anyone
that's
has
not a
any
good
objection.
Let's move on.
Okay. All right. Here we got 12 slides of our famous.
Oh,
I love
singing
that.
the song. Oh,
It's still stuck in my
This-
head from this, even though I've already
No.
known what the song sounds like. But
I
I woke up with this
Has-
song in my head this morning. Actual.
Have you guys heard the Old Tongue Bardcore rendition of this song?
No.
No.
I will send you the link later.
Thank you.
Oh my God,
need
it
that.
is amazing.
Thank you.
If you like Bardcore, you will really dig this, and it's
Good.
done in Old Tongue, so it's even cooler.
I love it.
I love Fail's smile here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. How she was like, okay, these two rivers people. And
But
There she is
also-
again.
So he in the first season, he was just kind of the backups like do. But now he started it. And he sang the main line. So he wasn't a backup person anymore. He was the primary performer.
Yeah.
It will and like I was totally honestly, I was waiting for a big speech or something, and like I know Perrin's bad at speeches, and sometimes like in the books he just gives these like very succinct, this is why we're here. Like in the books, I will give him credit. Like he's not always the best leader, but when he brings his people to the point where they need to do things, he gives very good small succinct speeches, and that's what I was preparing for. I was not prepared for Manetheren from a large group of people.
How rude were those Trollocs?
Right. I was sitting there waiting for Perrin to start giving a speech too.
Me too.
And I'm holding my breath.
Me too.
And then I gasped when he started singing.
Yeah.
Right?
I was not
it
prepared for that.
just wrecked me. I was just like,
Yes.
because that song does it to me every time, especially the version on the show.
Yeah.
And it just
Weep for
that's why I'm wearing this tonight. My Red Eagle of Manetheren shirt.
That's amazing. Yeah, I love it.
Okay, I just got back. Did anyone comment that it would have been lame for him to make a speech and he did this instead?
Yeah.
I did.
No,
I did.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't say it would be lame. I said it was different from what we expected from the books. So, like in the books, he had done speeches at various times, and I was expecting that. So, like him singing
is great.
Just like
great. Yeah.
This is the first time I cried.
Aww.
This was the first time I cried in this
wow.
episode.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
I will. I definitely liked how it's hard to say if how many people actually knew the song before they started singing it.
Well, I think they all knew it. I think all the Two Rivers folk grew up with it.
Oh, of course. Yeah, it's 100%.
They just didn't, they probably didn't know at the time that parents started singing it to them necessarily what the song meant.
The context.
But the context. But I think they also, in a way, instinctively knew he had a reason and that it meant something.
Well, and
I think that's why they took to it.
What is it? Episode 3, where Moraine tells the story, and then they start singing.
No, they sing. No, it, they start singing.
The story. Yeah. So they
start singing.
It's very obvious. It's a song that they all know.
Yeah. Matt starts singing the song.
Yeah.
And Perrin actually does start singing too.
Yeah. He does the really deep.
Rand in the first season
didn't really.
Oh gosh, he's so baby face there. He's so baby face.
I could not find Rand singing to it at all.
Nope. They definitely all looked baby faced back then.
See, I had a lot of fun with this song when I edited the video for this, and it was like one of our earliest videos. I had, because I used to always have a picture of all the characters in the background behind me, and they would make comments about me, but I had them all singing their lines, and I played this song from the video, from the episode, just loud enough you could just make it out as we were talking about it. And so I had it playing, and then you could see the words above each character behind me. And I had a lot of fun doing that because I had never done anything like that, editing a video.
This is all Rand does, is tap his hand.
Yep.
Offbeat, by the way. I like how Land too.
Well, Land's actually looking at everybody who's singing along, and notes Rand as like offbeat and stuff.
Yeah, Rand could possibly be singing there, but kind of more of a mumble, like most people do in church.
The one reason I included these is kind of doing the foreshadowing what Moraine's speech here is.
Yeah.
Because she's talking about it's going to remember Manetheren. Matt says, hey, he has no idea what Manetheren is.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That is not the best picture of...
Oh no, that isn't.
Suffering from a Trolloc wound.
Rosamund Pike.
Good job.
Yeah.
Her face like she was in pain. She did a good job.
Looks like she's got a fart cut crosswise.
Yeah.
Like a what? What?
we have some parallels here that the army was small but strong. A thorn in the dark one's hand.
What the fuck?
When a men in mountain home stood before it.
Yeah.
Not a step of ground was given up until it was soaked in blood. Queen Eldraine felt her husband die.
Which is so perfect that
this is the scene.
The shots on her.
Yeah.
And she hurled the one power at the Trolloc army. A hurricane of fire washed across the land. And then I took this shot here.
Oh.
I
see what you did there, Max.
Oh,
very clever.
Sneaky.
Yes. Wait, can you go back to that the scene from the Two Rivers?
I can't go back that far, unfortunately.
All right,
not right now.
No, but that is the same path. It's the same pathway. Yeah.
Eldraine had drawn more than one power than anyone ever could hope to wield. But the children, what did Perrin do in this episode with the children?
The children got out.
Save the children.
Some nice foreshadowing here.
I like it.
And their minders hidden in the mountains had been saved.
Huh. It's the wheel of time, guys. It's happening again.
And we have that foreshadowing with Rand in the prior episodes.
So say we all.
So I will say that like people will attribute this to Tolkien Two Towers where the people were like going to ferret away the children, but that was not an uncommon thing. Like,
No.
that was not like, yes, that was a big book where they did that. It's not very frequent in fantasy sci-fi things where they're ferreting away through a secret passage that has already been dug out. But that was not uncommon where places where people
Helm's
got
Deep
attacked.
had that.
Agreed.
They had that at Helm's Deep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Two Towers. Helm's Deep. Yes.
So it, to know, like, that was some foreshadowing director-wise and writing-wise to tie those things in on those character shots, specifically for what Perrin did in that episode.
Great job, Max. And to think, we know now that if it wasn't for Rosamund Pike, we wouldn't have had that scene at all.
I know, because they were gonna cut it out.
They were gonna cut that entire scene.
That was just such an amazing
Oh,
scene.
that would have been a crime.
No,
that was the best. That was the best
true.
scene in the opening 3 episodes.
No.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, no, I can't say that because the attack on the Two Rivers was pretty fucking amazing.
There was a lot. It was up there on our.
It was one of the best scenes.
One of our favorite moments. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For reference, I had 43 slides devoted to Manetheren.
Oh wow!
Oh goodness!
Great job, Max.
Yeah. If anyone has any other comments on it, I can go to the next scene.
Let's go to the next.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have the Trolloc army.
Bum, 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 bum.
Battle raging. I'm not entirely sold on the Trollocs this season.
Yeah. Trollocs are kind of hit and miss. We don't really get that many good looks at them most of the time. I think that this is not a complaint. They cheaped out on the extras and the Trollocs in the fight, and I don't blame them one bit for that, because a fight like this, especially if you're going to have 100 Trolloc extras fighting, is going to be expensive. Is going to be real expensive, and you have to cheap out on a TV show sometimes. And I think so. I'm not even complaining about that. I'm totally fine with, especially adding dark friends, to the Trolloc army. It cuts down on the number of people you have to put in Trolloc costumes.
Makes sense.
But we don't even know if they did stilts this season.
Some of them were on stilts, but others, like the one standing right behind Pat and Fane later, when Pat and Fane's just standing there yelling and cuts that lady's throat, is just standing there, and he's like Pat and Fane's height.
Because I'm like, it'd be a major safety risk, I think, for some of them, like people running by them. Just insurance and safety risk to have that many people on the field, and then these guys in stilts. Trying to keep people from bumping into each other and not falling down.
Well, you have to remember
that's what you pay stunt actors for.
I know,
So
but
it's like all of them are stunt actors. So.
And they are all used to being injured.
This is all choreographed as well, so everyone knows. The actors on stilts, they have these avenues. Everybody else, you're doing this, but you're staying out of those avenues.
And
we're not LARPing at this point. They're not like, hey, we're just gonna go.
Well, perspective also makes perspective and camera angles can also make it look like people are closer to each other than they actually are. Especially when one's in the foreground and another's in the background behind them. You can't always tell an accurate distance, between the two. So it adds to the illusion that there's more chaos, like they're running through each other like this, when they're really just doing this,
Kind of like looking at the passenger side window while the T-Rex chases you.
Yeah.
Well, and
things are closer than they look.
And Glenn, that's just general TV effects. Like that's what they do all the time. So it's not just that, not to blemish the show. Like that is exactly what they do all the time.
That's how you do it.
Exactly what you do on stage. So on stage you have effect. Like you perform things in a way that makes it look one way, but you're actually doing.
Well, that's how every fight's done, because they very rarely ever actually connect with a stunt fight. I've professionally done stunt fighting, and I got connected on once, and that didn't feel good at all. I got cut a roundhouse to my head. Oof. But yeah, I mean, there's even that famous shot in Return of the Jedi on the barge, during out in the sand when Luke's fighting, and he's got his lightsaber up and he kicks the guy, and the camera shot that they end up using, you can see he misses the guy by like this much. It was just a bad editing choice. They picked the wrong angle, and you could see that Mark Hamill was nowhere near the stunt guy's head, but the stunt guy still went going back like he got kicked. It's always been done that way. You have to, Full contact is not good in filmmaking.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm just going to mention here that we have the arrow shooting and Maxim's goofy grin here.
Yeah.
This is a nice catch. I never saw the grin.
Yes.
Well, and this goes back to our conversation about like hypothetically he would have tested them beforehand, but since the show decided he for whatever strategic reasons would not and sees them shooting now for the first time, I would be very happy and be like, oh yeah, that worked.
All right.
Also, that grin would have worked if he had tested them beforehand and then been like, oh yeah, that kind of worked. Oh yeah, no, they did it in battle because battle is stressful. So that grin would have worked regardless. Also, can we just see his face? Can you put his face back up?
I just removed that slide.
Oh, god damn it, because I need a little bit more of that.
No, definitely not. Before I move on, does anyone have anything else
rude.
to say?
I'm just saying rude.
The little tiny battle scene before it goes on to the next little clip. Okay. We got
the hammer.
Loyal and the ale running up to the gateway.
Oh, even their shadow runners are soft. It was so great.
Yes.
That's not so much a hammer as a maul. That's what you call a maul.
Yeah.
Glenn should be happy about what the ale are doing this episode.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
What do they do with their veils?
Oh, I'm not the one who's been bitching about the veiling.
I thought you were.
Oh, they even make a motion it's a handmaiden's motion that they're gonna veil up.
Yeah, I saw that. That was nice.
I like that.
Yeah,
and I do think Loyal is grinning. That is definitely Loyal was definitely grinning as he did his battle roar, charging those Trollocs. He was looking forward to that.
I also love the sassy comment that the shadow runners, the wetlands shadow runners, are weak.
Oh,
yeah. Whatever that comment is. Whatever. Yeah. But they say.
Did you get that one, Matt?
The caption says
didn't add it to it, no.
Fucking.
Yes,
not
you
fucking,
didn't do the one with fucking.
No.
Yeah. So
mine
the caption.
said fucking.
I'm upset that they said fucking and not fucking. I was like, use a seriously, because somebody who uses language. What is our cuss words? So if you're saying fucking wetlanders and not fucking wetlanders, maybe fucking is a Aiel term, but it is the hand motion is fucking wetlanders.
Yeah. I like it.
Maybe that was the sign language thing, and whoever actually subtitled those.
Oh.
Subtitled it accurately instead of whatever they were going to do. I don't know.
I do believe that is our first F-bomb in the entire show, though.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think so.
Uno said fecking. Uno said fecking.
Yep.
Fecking was before. This is the first.
Yep.
Fucking. I will agree with that. Glenn, you are correct.
Wasn't there?
It makes me happy.
Didn't they sign that earlier though about the wetlanders as well in this episode?
Not that line. That was right around here.
They were showing exasperation.
See,
Okay.
since before the show was even filming, have been arguing that the show should use both Jordan swearing and real world swearing. Because there's a lot of places in the books where Jordan will actually give us the words Uno or Elaine, for instance, says, like bloody and ashes. And then Jordan writes, and then they continue with words that made everybody blanch.
Goat's milk and
but Jordan wouldn't actually give us the words that they were saying. So my assumption was those are the words that we use today. So blood and bloody ashes, that, and then instead of saying milkstop, that fucking bitch, and just go on, with the language the books don't use, but only when the books cut off at that that kind of point. So I'm happy hearing bitch now twice on the show and fucking at least once so far.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like they use the word bitch in the books.
I may be referring to a female wolf.
I don't know.
That might be the only time bitch ever got used in the books.
I don't really remember one way or the other.
And I'm not even sure if it got used then, but Noman Garden will fact check me. He's probably got the ebook somewhere. He can Google it, search it fast. Because apparently I was wrong when I said that the word magic is never used in the books, but apparently it's used 2 or 3 times, I think.
Did Jen have anything on the quick run up to the gateway?
Just like whether it was fucking or whatever it was, I really like they're saying, the Shadowrunners are soft. That was cute. I like that.
Right? Isn't that one of the best parts of that scene?
I love that. That was great. I would love that.
So the next scene, we have the Trollocs going up to the Palisades here. Alana and the girls making a circle and channeling some hail.
Days.
This was some really nice special effects. I
liked it.
We see a brief bit of
that.
I call it hail.
D&D.
I just call it hail.
Okay.
I don't know what specifically.
I thought it was like a mass ice dagger or ice.
Ice daggers. Yeah.
But
I thought of them as glass myself. But okay, ice works.
That was ice.
She has you can briefly see she's starting to overchannel a bit by the fire under her skin there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you notice that it's hitting her and not the other girls or Days first.
Right, because she knows how to.
Yep.
To weave properly.
She knows what she's doing. Yeah.
And here you start to see the hail start to come down on the field and really start to slam home on people.
Yeah.
I thought it was fucking awesome.
It took me when she started doing it, I was like, is she doing a tornado? And because Mascom kept telling them, let's back up, let's back up, let's back up. I was like, if she's doing a tornado, because they had that circular concept of the weave, I was like,
yeah.
So what's going, if it's a tornado, that's going to be a little bit more chaotic. How can we back up?
Yeah. I really like the channeling scene here too.
Yeah. And then I started falling down. I was like, yeah, I literally jumped up out of my seat and screamed. Of course, as you know, I had my cats at me, so they freaked out. And I was like, yeah. So that's not a normal thing that I do in my daily life. So
you don't scare your cats normally?
I don't try to.
Put a cucumber near them.
I've seen that.
I've been tempted to do that, but I just again.
What, cats don't like cucumbers?
There's a whole thing. I guess
we'll send you videos.
Okay.
So if anyone is near Glenn, put a cucumber by him when he's not expecting.
So Glenn is a cat now.
Possibly.
Okay. So we this is
I am a Leo.
A confirmation as to whether or not.
But I'm pretty sure if you break into his house and put a cucumber next to him, it'll freak him out. So
maybe just that you got in the house.
Freak him out.
Yeah, because the doors are locked right now.
Max, I'll leave this to you.
Speaking of which, We got the Lana scene.
I hear people thinking that's a Slayer arrow. I'm convinced it's a Trolloc arrow. But
yeah, it's not clear, is it?
I think it's too long to be fired by a human being.
Do we see Lord Luke when he comes in with a...
No, but I don't think he's got long enough arms to draw an arrow back that's that long.
There's nothing there to look at. Yeah.
Well, mind you, Slayer and Luke are two different people.
Yeah,
and also they're hand waving a lot of these rules, so it may or may not matter.
Here's another thing: when Days gets killed, we see one arrow go through her, and then we see 2 and 3 arrows just go one after another, succession. That is way too accurate for a Trolloc.
Oh, not accurate, but quick precision.
Well, she gets 2, one right after the other, right into her chest.
Yeah, again, the turnover is you're not going to be able to draw again. So it's
my
multiple.
assumption was that there's a small group of Trollocs back there that were shooting.
There has to be.
Yeah,
but that accuracy in its succession, I don't know.
I don't think it was so much accuracy. And Trollocs fight. That's what they do, is they fight and kill and hunt and just. You think Trollocs aren't going to be any good with arrows?
Do you see any other arrows in the ground around her?
Well, yeah.
No, and the one that got shot went straight through her torso.
Yeah.
It was a perfect shot. I mean, by all rights, Alana should be dead with the trauma.
Also with her shield, they were hitting outside. So they started bracketing in.
Yeah,
to break the shield down.
The shield was failing because it wasn't strong enough in the first place.
Right. But it was badass still. Days Congar's last stand was just righteous.
I loved it. I love Days.
But they would not have been able to account for her shield. So they were shooting. So when you're talking about shooter inaccuracy, you could see them shooting, and then they start bracketing in and figuring out how they fucked up. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's just too much.
All right, yeah. Next,
Days went out in a blaze of glory.
Can we lift one up to Days?
Yes. I will for Days.
Thank you.
Yes. She went on amazingly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I fist bumped in the air. Yeah, when she started channeling, she just screamed. Didn't even think. She just jumped forward, just and and then
I did want to mention that when you mentioned that he couldn't possibly draw a bow that long, they do have some ridiculously long asymmetrical bows. I believe Japan has. I think it's the Gumi bow.
You can only go back as far as your arms can go back, and the size of that arrow, half of that arrow is still going to be on the other side of the bow. The knock when you've got it knocked and drawn. That's an extremely big arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Is my point.
That's what she said.
Exactly. I just don't see it being fired by a human.
Oh, Slayer's not human.
Unless they've got a machine, some kind of. It's mounted
in how many arrows is this girl going to get hit by within 2 episodes of each other?
Right.
My God! And then miraculously
getting these phallic objects stabbed into her.
Let's get to that scene and then we can discuss it.
Mm-hmm.
How many times has she been stabbed by phallic objects in this last 2 episodes now?
No.
The next scene here is after Maxim feels her bond goes down, he yells at the Two Rivers folk, "Are you too stubborn to fall down and die?"
Mm-hmm.
And can the people of Two Rivers manage that?
Yes. Oh my gosh, his whole speech.
Isn't this what Rand's dad, Tam, was supposed to do?
Maybe. I don't remember.
I thought Tam was the one that did the big
Including Max.
rah-rah speech to get the Two Rivers folk, ready to go.
That worked. I don't mind it.
It was definitely Tam basically tells them to shut the fuck up and do what Perrin says.
Yeah.
And bucks them up, but this mask, what he does is being an outsider and just pushing all the buttons. And he says you're too the first thing he says, you're too stupid.
Yeah.
It was wait, why is he? But then he continues okay.
As much as I like it,
stupid and stubborn, and there was a third thing
bullheaded or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought it was a great moment for Maxim and for Taylor, as an actor. I do think Rafe kind of made sure Taylor got this scene so that Taylor would have something to put in his, reel going down the road, because this was a great scene for him. This was a great scene for him, and it looks good for his actor's reel going forward. I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. I just think it's,
well, first of all,
it's talking about the episode, not the actor.
Yeah, and and since Tam couldn't be there, the only other person who would make sense, because it's not Bran Alvear, so you need somebody, especially once parents left. So I appreciate your point of view, Glenn, but I don't think this was I want my hubby to have a great speech.
I think
is Bran Alvear even make it past episode 1?
Max and be the one to survive instead of Ivan. Ivan doesn't die in the book. It's the other one that they changed from Owen or whatever to Maxim.
Okay, so you're getting into conspiracy theory territory.
So, anyways, does Bran Alvear even make it past episode 1?
Max, what were you saying?
Does Bran Alvear even make it past episode 1?
Bran, yes. Bran is there. Actually, but he's actually not here in the whole, Bran is not here in any of this season.
He just disappeared.
We don't get Bran, Tam, or Abel. It's very strange that we don't get any one of the three.
So they did mention this season that Tam and Abel are off bringing someone somewhere. I can't remember exactly. They said
they rescued Perrin's parents.
Yeah,
no problem with them not being there.
They were bringing them elsewhere, but they haven't mentioned where Bran is. So
yeah,
I don't know. I didn't really miss Bran because I don't think Bran would have added much to this. Bran didn't really add much at this point in the books. I kind of miss Tam and I kind of miss Abel, but I don't think they were necessary to tell this part of this story. So I don't miss them much, or I don't mind their absence, I should say.
I don't think his wife is missing him very much.
She's got more on her mind than dealing with her husband.
Yeah, she's got Maxim around.
And she's got the women's circle to run. Because she sure seemed to be handling them more than... Well, no, Days was off with Alana, so never mind.
Next scene I hear is the girls killing Trollocs around the gate with Loyal here.
Not the girls. Bane and Chad.
Remember
Chad and Bane.
I'm so glad you clipped this, Max. This is what bothers me about things later, which I'm not going to get into. But why hold up the leaf? You draw the
because
do that.
She's trying to take it. She's trying to touch it.
No, but
it's all for that moment, and I appreciate it. I liked it, that moment where she tries to grab it and touch it, and Bane's like, "You and touching," I thought that moment was priceless. To be honest. I really did.
See, now I'm talking about this anyway.
And it actually makes me think of Jane from Firefly, because the actor purposely put into the character of Jane, he touched everything. And if you ever watch Firefly, you will see him pawing, touching things just all the time. And it's just funny. And it made me think of that.
So now you have to go back and watch a season to see what all she touches. No, I'm talking about her in this episode.
Oh, her. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to go back this whole season and watch everything she touches to see what.
Oh, and like last season.
Yeah.
Last season too, yeah.
Like, what did she touch? I can tell her things she can touch.
I was just going to say that. Maybe not in those words, but I was going to say I volunteer to be tribute.
I volunteer. Yeah, she was great.
Say, unless anyone else has to say, I'll move on.
Yeah.
We have the failed healing scene.
Yep.
Where they did not remove the arrow, obviously.
Thank goodness.
I especially appreciated this after like the whiplash of them being able to channel the first time. So it wasn't like, oh, we could do this on call. So totally made sense.
Yeah.
But they could not.
Yeah. I agree.
I'd say there are some issues potentially, like she's saying, "Heal me, but leave the arrow in." It's like,
No,
but also like, but it's knowing that they wouldn't be able to do the full healing. Like it definitely a different type of damage that she got from before. So like heal it up to the point where we could I can get back in the battle. So leave it in, like make sure and it wasn't really downward. I mean, I guess there were major organs. We could debate that, but
well, it shows they were sad. I mean, they channeled when they were angry. They were angry when they thought in the cage that he was going to go take their mom. They were
and they had compassion the first time, but then this is stress. Stress, so they couldn't deal with you need to channel now. So they had the option of just like, we're gonna do this beautiful thing for you, and now it's like, heal me now.
I like this idea here that they're discussing in chat, that when they're not holding hands, they can't channel.
I was going to bring that up, actually.
That's an interesting theory.
Yeah, because when they hold hands, they held hands when they healed Alana the first time. They held hands when they took Vald out. But they were not holding hands when they tried to heal Alana after the big arrow that went through the main part of her chest. So I am thinking that might be a block, or it might be that somehow, what is it in physics when two things are tied?
Entanglement.
Yeah, maybe they're entangled and they need to be, touching in order to.
Or they think they need to be. That's their block. Yeah.
Well, that could be too. Yes.
Entanglement is their block.
I wonder if they're going to play with that since they've introduced it. I mean, it seemed obvious to me, and I was going to ask about it, and the guys brought it up in the chat. So I wonder if they're going to address it.
Matt Stagger's point here is part of why I have no issue with the twins, if they are twins, the Cawthon girls healing Alana at any of these times, because it's established in the books, as Bill pointed out, Nynaeve's first channeling was healing.
Yeah.
And it's been established at least once on the show that inexperienced healers can instinctively heal somebody without needing to have been trained in it. When Egwene did it in episode 108. I didn't like it then, but they established it then. So damn it, that's just the way it works. So they better stay consistent with that. And in this case, they are. So I have no issues with it. Yet another thing that Glenn Buey's not Glenn Buey over.
All right, moving along, we have the White Cloaks returning to the Two Rivers. We see Dane, and then Fane with his teeth.
I like having Fane back. I was like, yeah, Fane.
And some Molotov.
It was so interesting, the choice of bringing Fane in with the white cloaks and then having Perrin make them choose and see the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And it's just such an instinctive thing.
Yeah. Well, the Dark Friends there next to Fane didn't give anybody any chance. They just started
they didn't. Yeah, they didn't.
Yeah. So they gave it up in a way.
But also, that is so 100% different from the books. So it was this, but it was also this breach of the wall. So we didn't have to go through this like siege period, which happened in the books. Like the books, they went through this like weeks of the Trollocs testing the walls, like testing coming in, and then eventually once they got the numbers, which is when Perrin went into the dream and saw like, oh shit, witches. What Bane, Chad Bane and Fael did in the previous episode, like, oh, they're coming. We've got massive amounts of creatures coming in. So they did a great job of condensing everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think using Dane as an inadvertent Trojan horse kind of demeans Dane. I mean, we don't need too much more reason to demean him, but I mean, inside the character is good and true. He's just ticked off about his dad. Okay, so there's that. But he was fooled by Fane, and he becomes an inadvertent Trojan horse.
Yeah.
And I have something I want to say about that at the end.
Okay.
I was going to mention there's no drink in his hand at this moment.
No.
This moment. Could be off screen.
Like a lot of people, I kind of like Show Dane. Show Dane is understandable and likable, as not nearly as likable as like Show Aram is likable.
Yeah,
that actor just plays Aram super likable, and I don't think he can help it. But at this point, at first I was upset that they brought the White Cloaks in, and at first I was mad that he was actually going to fight. But like I don't know. I'm just really conflicted on Dane at times and on what they're doing with the White Cloaks here. I agree with the problem with bringing them in, to an extent, but I do also, one thing I liked about, one of the signs that there's still some good in Dane, and it's just a single throwaway line. He actually took the time to turn to Perrin and say, I didn't know about Fane.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was like, hey, I didn't.
Why did he take the time? If there was,
and that's pulling a whole plot line like from like 10 books from now forward.
Mm-hmm. But also, what's he say right here?
Yeah.
When he's first coming in.
Right thing to do.
Yeah, when he's acknowledging that. So again, I think they're like, it's going to be interesting what they do.
See, I saw somebody saying they think he's going to end up being the Lord Captain Commander of the White Cloaks down the line, which to me means he's going to have to face off against Galad. And I just don't see Dane being that bad. I don't know who they're going to introduce as a White Cloak that's that bad that Galad would have to be in face down, because we just lost that guy tonight.
Or he acknowledges that Galad is the better leader and he doesn't have to face off against him. He just acknowledges that Galad. Again, you let's allow people to say that like somebody's better at this than I am, and like we don't have to fight about this.
Why do you think I took Punlord off my name? Noman Garden's in chat. I realized there's somebody at it better than me, so I took it off my name.
I was going to say that we were just recently introduced to Child Buyer.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if Child Buyer may become something of significance in the near future.
We did not see in this episode.
No,
as far as
we
I
did
know.
not.
No.
Yeah.
He might have been one of the guys on horseback that came in. Probably was. We just didn't notice. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention
Max,
to the other white
you were
folks.
flipping through things really quickly. Let's go through them like slowly. No, slowly. Okay.
Let's go back to the beginning.
I actually kind of hope that at some point Dane and Perrin aren't like at loggerheads, you know.
Oh, so this is when this is Dane coming in. Oh,
No,
That's Fane.
This is Fane.
That's
It's so
shot of Fane.
So all the real white folks are in by now.
Yeah, so Fane coming in. That when he came in, like I knew it was gonna happen, but I was just like,
Yeah.
I gotta give the white cloaks credit. They jumped right to defending as soon as that guy stabbed one of the the gate guards.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
You know.
Before we move on to the next one, I have to do women's circle right here.
Hold on. Of the shot of Fane on the horse.
Yep.
The horse's headpiece looks very much like what we saw on one of the fades.
Horses,
is it not?
One of the masks that was on the helmet for the fetch.
Oh yeah, the Murgel.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is true. It does.
And I think this is the only horse that has it, right?
No, there was another one right there.
Another one next to him that had
Okay.
Yeah, we see the ones back here have them. But yeah, I just want to mention the women's circle here.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Part of the reason I want to mention it is because the director from Vikings, like this is straight up what he had them do with the Vikings.
Yeah.
Oh.
The only people you see in this episode fighting in formation or ready to fight in formation.
Well, this is pretty much how he had the shield maidens and the other Viking soldiers do it.
And I love that it's the women's circle that's doing it. So
yep.
Yeah.
Just got
you're like, I like your women's circle. I'm like,
which it like tactically that makes sense, but also hashtag Amazon Sony talk to Dr. Livingston and he will help you with all the formations.
Well, obviously the women's circle is the only one who paid attention to the defensive instructions from Maxim.
Right.
Well, they were this was their one job, the fallback position. This is the one thing that they had to do. All the other tactics were flexible, fluid, so it was very difficult to explain. And I'm I want to 100% give credit to these women, but knowing how to be if you need to be dynamic and everything, you can't give a simple you just have to hold your formation.
Mm-hmm.
And that was not the case for all of those things. Just hold this formation, do this one thing. That's an oversimplification of what those people needed to do. So as much as I know people and there are definitely things that we could poke holes in on the strategery. I'm using that as an actual word. It's not a real word. The strategery of what they did. But give them fucking credit for having 2-3 days according to I think our timeline, 2-3 days.
Yeah. Something. Yeah. Like I said, moving on here, we have the Tuathon looking down the hole to escape.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't really much to that scene because then it immediately goes on to Loyal.
Thunk.
Thunking on that.
You mean Gandalf.
Yeah. He looks back, he sees that. And then from here, it immediately goes on to this scene. Outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where Bane and Chia
badass bitches being like,
Yeah.
let's be. You know what? We took a break. Let's bail up again.
exactly.
This is a scene that fell into the rule of cool because I can't imagine that the Trollocs and the Dark Friends that walk up just stop, look at him, and watch as these two women get up slowly, start sauntering forward, look at each other, smile, and slowly mask themselves. And then just, I'm like, no, they would have been attacked. But the rule of cool, because it was cool watching them do that. So,
Well, sometimes when something seems so bizarre, you just don't know how to react to it. And that's what happened to those guys.
I'd also imagine they had numbers on their side, and they're looking as 2 women versus a couple dozen.
Yep.
So they didn't feel the need to rush forward.
Maybe.
Yeah. I agree.
Like I said, rule of cool works for it too, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, and like again, like it's not even rule of cool is like they walk up and they're like, okay, cool. Like we got 2 chicks. There's how many of us? Like, cool.
I like that.
And I'm not sure if didn't mean to interrupt you there, Jen.
No, that's it. That was it.
I'm not sure if she spit out her blood or someone else's blood.
Either way, it's cool.
It was probably both, but
just right after this, because it was like scene after scene after scene.
Yeah.
We have the Tuathon continuing.
Is that Peter Jackson's kid?
I don't know. But yeah, I had this individual scene here of like the kid with his tongue sticking out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna guess that was the best take they had.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
I'm just gonna flip through here. And we have the Trolloc. Personally, I didn't mind like the facial makeup they had in the Trolloc here.
Yeah.
But the CGI of it running, I thought looked horrible.
Yeah, I didn't mind the makeup at all. The CGI running was it was a goof. It was goofy.
Someone in chat earlier mentioned Underworld. And honestly, Underworld, I thought rose-colored tinted glasses looked better than the CGI.
I agree, but it reminded me of Underworld when I saw it. But yes, I thought Underworld was better, and that was CGI done a long time ago. Yes. Whoever
rose tinted glasses, go back, it's probably gonna look bad, but
probably. Yes, it reminded me of that. Is so weird because that's what I thought. That's so wild. I'd never voiced that opinion before. Yeah, it was goofy. It was goofy. I would have rather the zombie monster.
Now, where did that Trolloc come from? Did it follow them from the?
That's
the
not what
they
bothered
came
me.
down?
It followed them through the tunnel. They've done so good with
it. Got past everybody into the Wine Spring Inn.
I think it was just out in the woods, kind of.
Well, it came through the cave entrance.
Oh, this would have been up in the hills. So I think it came the singular one that came through the tunnels. It would be very impractical that there was a singular Trolloc up there on its own. But and again, I will say and they've getting back to the CGI, they have done such a good job with I've seen them things on the little strings that they use to leap on. They could have probably done things better with the practical effects. And then where they mixed in the practical effects and the CGI, it was just the season 1, the one crawling, leaping, that was a actual stunt actor on stilts running after Nynaeve. And I think they could have done that, and I don't know the decisions and the reasons they didn't do it. Maybe they tried it and just didn't work out, so they're okay, so that was
I don't think they could have done this exact thing on stilts and other stuff, prosthetics.
No,
but with CGI.
No, but with slings, like you've seen how they like sling people across. And
Yeah.
anyways,
But like a CGI, like I think the main thing is it didn't have enough frames involved. So it had like this claymation type effect to it, but with CGI. So it just, when you're going through it, just didn't have the quality per frame. It just, that's where the issue was.
If they can have, what's his name, McAvoy do that crazy run that he does in, what is it, Split or that one, they could do somebody doing a run as a Trolloc like that. You know, however they did that with, you know, I don't know if they used guidelines or something, you know, on McAvoy when they does that lope. I've only seen it in a trailer, so I don't know how they did it, but I don't remember which of those movies it was in.
yeah, I don't
know which character I'm talking about. Well, the one that was basically the spin-off to Unbreakable. It was Unbreakable, Glass, and Split or something like that. The third one.
Yeah.
Where he plays,
so there's technology available, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not something that this show has used before.
Not to my knowledge, no. Unless they used it in season 1 with those Trollocs that were loping like that.
Which they did not, because otherwise we would have heard about it.
Yeah.
Here I have Volda hitting a guy with his sword as he kind of going through. I'm still not sure that he didn't just kill a guy randomly.
Actually, I thought. Oh no, that's Volda. I was thinking
Volda.
Fane. Never mind.
That was Volda. He kills one white cloak, I think it is, and then another white cloak tries to attack him. That was definitely a
dark cloak. Dark cloak.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I was gonna say dark cloaks.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if he didn't kill a regular white cloak and then a dark cloak went to attack him. It's hard to really tell in the chaos.
Okay, so imagine you're an Emmon Fielder and a dark cloak attacks you and you see a white cloak next. What are you going to do?
Fucking kill him. Well, because at that point you don't know the difference between the two.
No.
Yeah, dingy cloaks, yes.
I love Noman Garden.
Yeah, Noman Garden's great.
The best. Yeah,
he's not good, he's great.
You
get over it.
Don't know the difference between the two. So honestly, like, it's amazing that there's no more, we would call it blue and blue, casualties between the Two Rivers and the White Cloaks.
Yep.
And like I said, this thing is like going scene after scene. It's just chaos here.
I think it kind of comes down to that the good White Cloaks, the actual White Cloaks, are not attacking the Two Rivers people. So if you're not attacking me, I'm not killing you actively. Mm-hmm. If you're a dark cloak and you're attacking me, I'm killing you. Mm-hmm. And that comes down. There's so much fog of war there.
Yeah, there is.
That might be the case reverse here with, you know, with his idea here that, you know, Volda might have killed one of us own not knowing, but I also think Volda would probably recognize any of the men he's been traveling with for this long, especially since there are so few of them left. You know, so I think if he saw a white cloak that he didn't recognize, he would probably know that's one of the dark cloaks or dingy cloaks. But like, you know, it is
Volda. You were saying Volda. I assume you meant Dane.
No, I mean Volda right there.
Oh,
you know, when he kills that
guy. Volda here.
You know, and I hate the character, but I'm going to give him some credit as a soldier. You know, some credit.
Like, yeah, Volda is a vile fucking person, shit. but he has played extremely well, and we are meant to hate him. And I love the fact that he is one of the few characters that we like. Also, God damn it, why does he have to be so sexy? When he, like...
I just saw him on another show a couple nights ago. Like, just after, and it aired the day after this aired. He was on a show in Britain called Beyond Paradise. He's right there at the beginning of the episode, and then later.
Okay, keeping it going,
was he still sexy?
Pretty. Keeping it going, we have the Trolloc going through the woods. Aram, the sword, killing the Trolloc, and Ella witnessing it.
I gotta talk about this. They made a point I like the way of the leaf. Don't get me wrong. I try, but I can't necessarily live it myself. But she makes a point in season 1 that anybody can come to the way.
Isla
in season 1 makes the point that anybody can come to the way of the leaf, that we forgive the crimes and the violence you did before you join us, and then you can join us. So we forgive those who've broken the way of the leaf, but before they joined us, but they can't forgive someone who breaks the way of the leaf in a moment of insanity.
Well, and that's
then
what you
swears it off again.
That's what you see in the columns is they turn away. Like you better.
And I have issue with that because they took in that assassin that we saw with the with the troop back in the caravan in the first season when Glenn and Perrin were traveling with them.
Glenn, this is her grandson.
I know, which is why she should be even more willing to forgive one mistake.
Yeah, it's her little guy. It's her baby, and it's the disappointment is so severe that he turned away. That's how she reacts.
Actually. So, and Glenn, like you're talking about, they took in the assassin. Like that is something that they could forgive. You did these things, now you will never do them again. And if you do, we will turn away from you. So somebody who was raised with all of these concepts and
I'll be right back. I gotta come back in.
You just don't do this.
He made one mistake, and he probably would never have done it again if she hadn't turned.
But this is why you're not a Tuathawan, and I I don't agree. I don't necessarily agree with the Tuathawan lifestyle, but I understand the tenets of what they uphold, and that makes sense to me. So, and you don't have to like it, you don't have to agree with it, but that is what they do. So,
I know, and I find it disappointing because they're willing to forgive in one instance, but not in another.
That's a conversation for another podcast.
And I think it's the shock of it happening is what we're experiencing. Perhaps if they had a conversation later in episode 22 of season 3.
But the whole thing is you are done now. You have turned away from our ways, and for better for worse, that is that is their community. That's what they do. So,
and Aaron had the most plausible reason for having done it.
Yeah,
I can't think of a more plausible reason.
So did the Vision. I'm blanking on the name of that character, but he literally stood up and just held his spear up and somebody died. Again, it doesn't it's the fact that they are so intolerant.
And I think they were wrong too. Yeah.
Again,
so,
that is a conversation for another podcast.
Yeah, let's keep going here. Jen, did you want to pipe out anything? Okay.
No, just him. I love the fact that the way that he rolled, and he just instinctually knew how to completely cradle the baby without hurting the baby at all. It was a little bit silly. I'm gonna roll with the babies, but the baby. Yeah, it was very funny. No, I loved it. I'm like, hell yeah, Aaron, go, dude. Screw the way to leave at this point. You saved the fucking kid, man. Good for you.
Okay.
Well, feel bad.
Jen, when do they having run so many times? That's just something that we're parkouring with babies.
Yeah, he's probably run for his life with a baby before.
This is something we're Tuathawan. We parkour with babies on our chest.
Okay. Now,
because apparently they run very quickly.
Nobody runs faster than Tuatha.
You were saying, Mitch?
Do any of you see the parallel between him and the knife there, or the sword, whatever it was, and with Nynaeve in the pool in season 1?
Yeah.
Well, I also see it with Matt and potential corruption.
Okay.
I was going to mention though that as far as like the way to leaf, I don't feel like killing a Trolloc should count. That's my thought. Moving on though, right after this scene, we have this part.
I love it. Best part of the show.
It was the next minute and a half between these two.
Amazing.
I think is the seminal moment for Perrin's character.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Yes.
I will say, as it was
That
happening,
smile.
the first
Yeah,
time,
look at her. Look at her.
the first time I watched this, I was like, God damn it, why are you taking time in a battle to
Yeah.
But like again, that was the initial frustration. But then once I realized like, yes, that's exactly what you do. Because I just wanted them to be out there like murdering motherfuckers.
They proceed to do that.
And they do proceed to do that. And once I like took a step back, checked myself, it's like, no, this actually makes sense. Like this conversation makes sense. For
I love I love that line Bill said, quoted,
kill the
ones I miss.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and that's after this conversation. Absolutely. 100%. But
this is that was Perrin covering his ass too. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and like Perrin is just so like he is this is book Perrin being I don't know what the fuck to do. I am out of my mind. I am like this is all way over my head. Should I just like surrender? Like what should I do? And she's like, bitch, get your shit together.
Battle Sinkerville.
Yeah, no, she gets him like and like she's like I would snap probably. But she doesn't do that. Like she has this like quick conversation about, like, here's what you need to do. Like, let's get your head in the right place. And let's face it, all of us need this. When we're in moments of crisis,
yes,
we need that person, regardless of whether it's like in the battle or whatever it is. Like sometimes when we're in moments of crisis, we need this person to talk to us and be like, you can do this, and here is how you can do this. There are logical steps. That is what. Yeah. And so Fael does this for Perrin in this moment. She's like, hey, you know what? Like, you are kind of like, I see you're stressed out. I see like
she's like Perrin's little Microsoft little clip. I'm seeing you're trying to do battle. Do you need help? Like,
yeah, exactly. She's like, hey, let me help you out a little bit.
Clippy note.
I like Sherwood's comment.
So if you remember that Perrin's Tavera nature is like the general for him.
What?
Who is the perfect person to bring that out in him?
The Lieutenant General.
Fail.
Yeah, of course.
Yep. Yeah. And contrast the scene. We have the next one here.
Oh yeah, good scene.
Oh, is this one?
We get the dreading scene here where he comes up to the murder twins.
Yes.
For Mother.
This was too slow or too fast.
Yeah.
Well, and
then a little bit of laughing from Alana.
Well, and the hilarity of it is that like she couldn't get them to channel to heal her, and they were so sad about it. But when they saw him, it was an instinctive like, and I do feel like this is like immediately after they still were embracing the Saurus. They immediately healed her afterwards, but they were so instinctive about like, we are protecting ourselves, and this guy needs to go down. Also, not sad about Ian Baldo getting burned to the fucking ground.
Neither am I. Bye-bye.
Righteous retribution. I'm interested to see like the implications.
Didn't suffer long enough.
I wanted him to slow roast.
Yeah.
My only complaint is I actually would have liked to have seen him more on the series. To
Yes,
make us hate
do.
him more.
I do like. I agree. I 100%
character.
agree. Max, I 100% agree that I was like, oh, we don't have another person we can hate longer. They're killing off all the people we should hate.
Well, I'm thinking.
And I will say to somebody who said like the slow roast, the quick roast is technically more painful because your lungs burned, whereas the slow roast is like you inhale smoke. So.
Oh, okay. That's why I'm wondering if the introduction of Child Buyer in a previous, if Child Buyer is going to take the place of Valda in the future.
Maybe.
And if anything, I just hope he gets future jobs. As an actor.
Oh, he's a fucking badass actor. He totally will.
I like him.
So like
he's so good.
If anything, I hope like that's why he's not part of the show any longer. Is like he had other jobs commitments.
He is just like
I found out the other night that's his hair that
I didn't want to be attracted to Valda, but like holy shit, that guy was attractive.
He has an attraction about him. I'll definitely see
so
that.
sexy. Like
that's the actor's hair that went white like that.
Yeah.
Awful person. But
the next scene here, we have Fane laughing.
That's the Trolloc I was talking about. That was just standing there doing nothing.
It kind of reminds me of the Predator from 1981.
A little bit.
And then we got Perrin kind of going forward as he's making his way to Fane. We got Fail doing her little murder stabs.
Great.
God, I love her.
Staccato stabs, I call them.
I like him.
Fane doing his cackling laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Perrin still making his way, and he's just going badass. Fane like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Throws the hammer.
Yeah, I think Fael might be the only character I can think of in film that could fight Gollum from Lord of the Rings. I don't think. I think they're both squirmy and wiry. I think that would be a hell of a grapple fight.
Okay.
Interesting.
It just reminds me of Gollum the way she jumps up on their back and just, I picture Gollum doing that shit.
Glenn, I think you need some therapy.
Probably.
Don't we all, though? Don't we all?
True.
We all need therapy.
Not as much as Fane.
So. Well, but I will say all the lead ups to the whole Fane thing, it was just like, are you gonna fucking kill him? Was my initial thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
And like Fane was just, I mean, Fane was feigning hardcore, just like being totally ruthless.
Cackling like a madman.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the book Fane that we've all been waiting for.
Yes.
So, can we admit that this is the book Fane that we've been waiting for?
Close. I think we need more whistling in this episode, though.
Yeah, I know. I was waiting for the whistle, but I was like, okay, maybe
it was missing, wasn't it?
The whistle was in the last episode.
Well, the only whistle we got this episode was the arrows.
Mm-hmm.
I caught a lot of.
Okay, so because the whistle is missing, does that mean Fane has moved into a different phase?
Oh, that is a great question.
I think that's coming up.
Maybe. I'm glad we didn't lose Fane because I love Johann Meyer in the role. I have a lot of fun watching him. I think he has a lot of fun in the part.
Yeah.
And I can't blame him. It's a juicy role to play.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they give him more, and I'm hoping they develop the role a bit more.
Yeah.
So and there is one particular person in mind that he hopefully interacts with, although she's batshit crazy already, so she might not need Elida might not need the taint from Fane.
I mean, but that's like story.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, regarding that, because we're full spoilers, we know Thane went to Amador.
Mm-hmm.
In the
Was
books.
They've
he,
skipped
In
that.
the book.
was he
In the books. In the
right
books.
in the books?
Right.
Was he already there, or is he yet to
They
go?
skipped
And
that.
he is just doing an impersonation right now.
Impersonating right now, I think. He brought a group, a small army of Trollocs and Dark Friends to the Two Rivers through the gates, the way gates. And I think they've totally skipped him going to Amador so far, Amadecia. I don't even know if they're going to have him do that.
He
I
probably
don't
took
like.
out some patrol of white cloaks, and that's how he got there.
Well, yeah, they took out the reinforcements that came to
Yeah.
the mountain pass.
Yeah. So the question is, did he go to Amador or not?
No.
And if
No.
he hadn't, will he in the future? Is there a need for him to?
Well, and like,
I don't think so.
yeah, like, and is that a plot line? So
Yeah. Well, and we know what plot line that applies to. So that's goodness. I wish they could
that we
would,
that we
but they
that we think
probably won't.
because again that is all mystery and
Yeah.
cloak and dagger hypotheses within the Wheel of Time community. So
That's what keeps us alive for the next
Yeah.
2 years until season 4 comes out.
yes.
Or a
So,
year and a half.
going
for
forward
season
here.
4.
We have this scene.
Which
The one
one is that?
The one's going to make
can't
you all
tell.
cry.
Oh, Loyal.
Loyal. Okay.
Oh, you mean the character that doesn't have
It's
anything left to do in the books?
It's like,
Mm-hmm.
just like the episodes. It's so dark, I can't see what's going on.
My boy.
Oh yeah, so okay, so the Gandalf moment
Yep.
is
Yeah.
what we're getting to.
Here
I
I'm
also-
pausing because right below here, with the lighting, you can actually see does appear to be some structures below.
Maybe.
With the lightning flashing,
Maybe.
we can see some structures below.
Oh, you
So
teased.
my understanding is Rafe has in a interview, and I don't know where, he's like, when Loyal died. And then like I've heard, oh god, yeah. Oh, god.
Well, I'll remind you that back in, I want to say season 1, they had in like their do not discuss info that they said do not discuss that Maureen was stilled or whatever it was. And what did we find out? She was not in fact stilled. So
that's fair.
Okay.
it's because he says died or still does not make it so.
Yeah.
Fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
And yes, it's probable he is dead.
But also, what I would say is if he was going to land on a platform below, it'd be like jumping off of the Empire State Building, and he would just like splat immediately.
But then also, Alana took how many arrows through the center of mass and lungs and heart, but
I'm just saying.
The Black Eyes took one dagger to the spleen and died instantly.
Here's my
agree.
question.
I
Hands
agree.
up. Are you
I agree.
okay with his death?
No.
Yes and no.
Jen?
No.
Mitch, are you there?
I think he had to leave.
Okay, he might be on mute too.
Yeah, he needed a moment.
I'm fine with it.
Here's the thing. I'm going to sound like an evil bitch for saying this. It's not the fact that Loyal's dead. It's the fact that there's just more questions now because of his death. I'm like, okay, he's dead. That I can handle. There's more Waygates, though.
Anybody can close Waygates.
But that's the whole thing. So why did he have to die? Like, now I have more questions.
What does he have left? What does Loyal have left in the books? He closes a bunch of Waygates. He avoids getting married. He gets married. And that's really, really about it.
You like Dareth, though. Anyway.
Yeah. And I like Loyal. I love, obviously, I don't know anybody who doesn't love Loyal. It hurt. When I first saw Loyal die, it hurt. But I've thought about it.
Here's
I'm
my
like,
thought on this, though.
why
We
is he
have-
banging it with a hammer? Where is Mashin Shin? Like, there's
We heard the
so
screams in the
many
background.
questions. Like,
We did hear Mushin Shin screams in the background.
Yeah, okay.
But my thought on this is, on several parts, we didn't really get a lot of Loyal in the show. They didn't get him a lot of screen time. This is probably the most screen time he's had all series.
Yeah.
And I don't feel they gave him enough screen time, period. And they could have given him a lot more screen time had they wanted to. So I don't know if he, as an actor, has that much, I don't know, obligations.
He's been doing a lot of other things. Like he's very he's
in demand.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he is very he is doing so many other shows.
Yeah. So I don't know if he is too busy to go forward from here, and that's why they're like, I'm just done with the show. Yeah. That kind of thing is going on.
But also I think what Jen said, it's what does Loyal really do? And there it leaves huge gaps. And again, Loyal is just this. It's a constant presence.
My thought is, what does he do? There are other characters in the show that we could say the same thing for that they've expanded their role on.
Expanded or merged it with other characters.
Again, yes. Again, yeah.
And they could have done that with Loyal, but instead of doing that, they've killed him.
Right.
They've basically created Maxim out of nothing.
I don't know the exact numbers, but I can tell you Loyal, not talking actors cost, but Loyal is the most expensive character to do on the show.
Oh,
because of the time it takes to put him in the makeup itself, and then the time to take him out of the makeup.
I don't think that's the consideration of
that's not the consideration, but it is a consideration.
But like I'm saying is you have Maxim, who is a character from the book, doesn't really exist in. They've completely created and fabricated that character.
Or not Ivan, he's Owen, just with a different name.
But they pretty much fabricated his entire role in this series.
Yeah, and I think I have my opinion on why that is.
So, for a book to TV show, they've completely fabricated what Maxim is in the show.
Yes.
And
what does Loyal do?
And let's acknowledge this is an adaptation.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So, what does Loyal do from here? Well, what does Maxim do? Well, they could do the same thing for Loyal, but here we've killed him. They could have made something for him to do, but no, we're going to kill him.
It's a lot cheaper to use a human than a no gear.
Hold on, Jen wanted to say something.
Yep.
I just have more questions. Not really Loyal-ish, but more a Loyal adjacent. I guess it's more of a Waygate because now I guess more of my questions are more with what's going on with the Waygate because you didn't need the leaf, but then you show the leaf, but then you don't need the leaf, but you can destroy the Waygate with the hammer, but the Mashin Shin, which was there, but then is not there because they tried to open the gate, but the Mashin Shin was all crazy. But that you can say Mashin Shin just travel.
Well, it actually the destroying of the Waygates is very interesting because
I'm
there's this whole plot line in the books later where Loyal and Narishma go and remove so it's they're not removing, so this is Loyal says the only way to destroy it is I have to hammer it. So this means that there is no other way besides physical destruction and self-sacrifice to close a Waygate.
Which I'm is that what they're establishing? Question mark.
Yeah, and that is and if we get 3 or 4 seasons from now where holy shit,
then that's going to be a bigger problem later on.
Going to be a
even
way
Loyal out of it. That's the problem with the weight because the Dark Friends could just come through wait, and then who's going to stop that?
Do this sacrifice of hey, maybe Mashin Shin drives us crazy.
One other final thought on the gate though isn't Loyal a stone singer or is he just a plant singer?
No, he's a tree singer. He's
tree
just
singer?
a tree singer. Yeah.
Because it was interesting that he started singing.
In the books.
Yeah. It was interesting he started singing just before he even break the stones.
He's Netherin.
Yep.
My thing
before he started breaking the stones. And when he started singing, when he stopped, the humming kept going into the ways.
Yeah.
Oh, so are you postulating that perhaps his singing weakened the floor stones enough for him to destroy?
Oh, I 100% thought that. Max,
because it goes back to the fire within the ways story.
Well, because the Ogier were the ones that created the ways. So they're the ones that sang the ways into being. And it's not explained in the show, but us book readers.
I mean, you literally have that short story, Fire in the Ways, and you literally have, or was it?
Perrin and Loyal going through. And
well, you have fire literally in the ways.
I don't think
got to be a nod.
This is called what? Fire in the Ways? Is it?
I think that's what it's called.
Is it a fan fiction or
no? It's an excerpt from one of the Sanderson books, and it's the one I believe that's not canon.
It's something that Jordan wrote.
It was cut out.
I thought Fire in the Ways was a Sanderson one.
It was one of those things that was cut that never made it into the book, I believe is what they basically said.
Oh,
yeah.
And I can find this just through Google.
Oh, you're right. It was a Sanderson one that was cut.
It wasn't cut from A Memory of Light.
Oh.
Keeping forward so we don't run out of time here.
Okay.
We have...
Hey, time is on our side.
Trying to remember here. Yeah, scene from the village here. Yeah. The gate exploded. Reinforcements aren't coming. Making the deal with Fane.
Oh, is that what it was? Trolloc tongue. Okay.
Yep.
I was like, how could they all hear him? I'm like, okay, they all heard him over. It was like
apparently the other dark friends knew Trolloc too. So.
Yeah.
Well, that is a thing in the books. There are dark friends that live in. Well, I call it the Blight, but not the Blight. That
Well, actually, for right now, let's go to spoilers up to book 5. For right now, I'll switch the banner. We've got somebody in the chat who has only read up to book 5.
We have Fail grabbing Perrin's beard and then going for that kiss.
So sexy. I love that. Oh my gosh, right, Jen? Thank you.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that their relationship. It's crazy because they're not my favorite relationship in the books, but seeing it on screen, I'm like, I like their relationship.
I don't know how if the guys got like little like screamy little things, but like when she grabbed his beard, I was like, oh yes, I want to fuck somebody right now.
See, Fael and Perrin have always been for me the most realistic and favorite relationship because I actually knew a couple. I swear to God, Jordan had met these two and wrote Fael and Perrin based on them because it was just like, in all my Wheel of Time reading friends agreed, yeah, that's Fael and Perrin. So
can I take a poll?
That relationship.
Can I take a poll among the gentlemen? Like when she pulled his beard, hands up if you thought that was sexy.
All right. I'll go for it.
Oh, Max. Okay. No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. No, it's
everything she does on this episode is kind of sexy in a way. So
I'll just say
because I feel like women are the ones that are like, oh gosh, she pulled like, and then like guys are like, yeah, like.
Just when you look at the scene, she really smushes his face into hers, and their noses are bent.
Guys
it was painful.
like pulling
Bill
girls'
says here,
hair a lot, and we also like that too. So you know what, guys have their own thing, and trust me, they really like that. So
all that blood spatter on her face doesn't turn me off in the slightest. She's kind of hot with that blood splatter.
Keeping going, we have the aftermath. She's fully healed again.
Oh yeah, of course.
Post-battle afterglow.
And then the twins are asking about going to the tower, and she thinks the pattern has bigger plans for them.
Okay, so what do you imply from that statement?
I'm not sure. I was confused.
They're going to go off and chaos mistress themselves somewhere else.
In the books, the Bodkothan is just shy of almost as powerful as Egwene.
Right.
But also Varen's there. So they go and take, like, the whole point is to take multiple people all the way up to, but and Alana
they
has
have like
said,
a dozen girls,
Alana
right?
has said, we are not going to the Two Rivers, or no, sorry, to the towers.
Yeah.
We are doing something bigger. So it means Alana is going completely fucking rogue, which I love. I want her to go totally rogue. I love it. She is going Egwene.
And I believe it was Varen who mentioned that she was as powerful as Egwene.
Here's
book
the
5.
thing. The only thing that makes sense to me out of that is because Alana knows the tower is having lots of dark friends right now, and she literally came out of battle of fighting and all that.
Right.
And
And she's like, I'm making my own
3,
fucking
4.
army.
So maybe
One
she's
of them.
thinking it's not safe for the girls there right
She's
now.
making her own fucking army. She is going paramilitary.
So is she heading to Tyr or maybe the S name? Solidera?
Who the fuck knows?
I was going to say,
you think she's going to maybe start Solidar, but like
she is starting Solidar on her own.
Okay,
but she starts that and
it just starts. She just starts accumulating. Well, and I mean, it's actually accurate to the books because, like, she did bring a whole bunch of people from the Two Rivers in, and it's like we don't know where we're going, and decided
twist.
Yeah, so I mean, it's still book accurate. Like she is just like,
for the most part,
I'm doing my own fucking thing.
In the books, where do all the girls from the Two Rivers end up? I don't remember.
They end up. Go ahead.
In Camelin at one point, I believe. I think that's where Rand finds them.
Right.
Where does Rand run into them at the tavern?
So
at a tavern,
Alana and Varen bring them from the Two Rivers to Camelin, not knowing what's going on, and then Rand does run into them.
Yep.
And then that's where he tells Alana, and Alana does her naughty thing. That there are the gives them the update of the political terrain about what's going on in the tower, and they go to Egwene. So they have a gateway. They have a gateway that is made to Egwene's camp.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, let's move on. We have this scene. Quick scene.
I think that's my favorite line in the episode is Maren.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
I love her. I want to give her a big hug and say thank you.
Yeah, she did great, and I love that scene. I love Maren Olver. Maren Olver is a real one. She's really coming through in the show, even more than
she's a true roof mistress.
She is. She truly is. Yeah.
You know, my only complaint on not necessarily this scene, but prior to this scene, is we didn't really necessarily see him getting shunned. Like just getting that extra little oomph to it.
It was a lot of looks.
Mm-hmm. We know it probably happened, but having that verbal call out of it happening, because we know it happens from the Rand scene, but having it happen again, it's still a thing that happens. And like I said, this episode is exactly 1 hour. I think they could have done it.
Yeah. Give us that 8 more minutes.
Oh no! Give us
renew first, but then also give us
Then we have this part. We get Bane Giad.
The book. Oh God.
Oh yes.
I really do like the fact that they ended up the entire episode with Loyal reading from his book or from his impressions. I don't believe they've ever done this before in the show, right?
No,
This is
they
the
haven't.
first time I think they've ever had this type of climax to a show.
Yeah.
And obviously, like after this, it leads into Dane, who again, as Legolas, does not know Frodo's name.
Of the woodland realm.
And no communication about her not knowing about the deal.
Yeah.
I gotta make
Even Alana's like, seriously?
Yeah.
right.
Well, but also not doing anything to oppose it.
Mhm.
Like, very clearly not stepping up to oppose it.
I like that line.
If
And,
I
and
had
look,
been paying
look at this
attention,
shot. Perrin has
Can I
seniority
also
over everything.
Mhm.
Can I also say throughout all this, Alana has not propositioned Perrin, which she did in the books, and I love that she has not,
Mhm.
because she just seemed so desperate in the books to.
Mhm. Build her army, but instead of girls would be warders.
And she's
Yeah.
doing it in a different way now. So, anyway,
Yeah, Perrin
yes.
is still playing peacemaker.
Mhm.
And he does it so perfectly.
Mhm.
And I love his, like, we say Perrin's not big on speeches, but his speech here,
Mhm.
like, he does the way of the leaf, and just
Mhm.
like, we cannot perpetuate violence.
Is she really a foot and a half shorter than him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Who?
Wow.
Fael?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's like 6'2".
I can't remember where I had the picture.
No, he's got to be more than 6'2".
Oh,
I think he grew between seasons.
I think he's 6'4".
It's 6'4".
That she's 4'10".
It's either 6'4" or 6'6" for Marcus, if I remember
Is
correctly.
she 4'10"?
He's actually-
I think she's a tiny lady.
You know what?
She's-
Chat, check us on this.
Marcus is 6'2". All right, I was wrong.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
I have been known to be wrong. It does happen. So
Are they making him look taller or something? I wonder.
It's
Maybe.
but a lot of the people that he is around are just tiny little people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
They
like,
actually took care of this episode when Perrin gives Loyal a hug goodbye. That they had Loyal taller than Perrin this time because when they meet at the end of season 2 in Falma, Perrin is actually taller standing next to Loyal.
I didn't notice that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to look at that
and I'm
again.
like, they needed an apple box or two there for Ahmed.
Yeah.
That wasn't an angle thing or something weird. It was just straight up them side by side.
I got a good
They were
picture here. I
reaching-
gotta go to it here in a second.
In episode 208. I'd have to go look in 208 for you.
Let me share screen here. It's the only way I can do it. Here we can see Felt standing next to the two girls, and what do we notice?
They're as tall as
Oh,
she is.
she's as tall as the children. Yeah.
Mhm.
but he's sitting down.
Yeah,
Wow.
but the girls are standing.
But that's the main point. They are standing, and so she is, and she's just as tall as they are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, Fael is meant to be short. Yes.
Okay, so she is a tiny lady. All right.
Yeah. I noticed I was taking screenshots, and I was like, wow, she is tiny.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, they could be tall, but still, like, it really
I
shows
would
her.
feel tall next to her.
Yeah,
And-
but
5'6".
you know what? Like, again, like, but Maddie is also like petite compared to
And, like-
Maddie. Egwene is petite.
And yes, he is sitting, but he's basically the same height as she is sitting. Or him sitting the same height. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So like that's how petite she is. Like he is as tall as she is standing.
Mhm.
So like, and as a very tall woman, I understand that.
Mhm.
So
Going forward here, we have
You are tall.
I
remember that when I
like you.
Yeah.
I hugged you into my bosom.
I was like, you were a tall IU. It's so great. You look so good in the IU because you're so tall. Yeah, that was amazing when you're kited sore. Yeah, that's right.
Leia, how tall are you?
Can't argue with that.
I'm 5'9".
Okay. So Jen, you're a little short side too, though.
I'm like 5'5", 5'6" ish. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm
a little bit taller.
Yeah. Again, I hugged her into my bosom.
And of course, the episode ends with
lucky girl.
The episode ends with Loyal's speech, and it just goes as this here.
So it's a big deviation from the books.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's not hopeless. They'll find a way to rescue Perrin somehow, and I think Alana will still try to bond his ass.
Okay, so
okay,
Glenn Bowie being positive on this one.
We're not going to get away that easy. What are the theories? How does he get out of this mess?
I think the wolves will do it.
My theory is they're going to start heading to, White Cloak HQ. Slayer is going to be hunting them. And that's going to be Fail, and Luck is going to try to rescue him.
Oh, the thing I told you guys to remind me of. Never did with the whole episode. Thank you, Luke. I wish they could have showed, because the show people don't know why the wolves aren't around. Why aren't the wolves coming to help? Even though the wolves never came to help. Because of what's going on. But the show people don't know what's going on. So they put up a big wolf banner and they talk about wolves, but I would have been confused if I didn't have book brain going, well, where are the fucking wolves, bro? So they could have at least done something, or maybe even have Perrin just close his eyes for a couple seconds, like, the wolves aren't there, and just continue on. I would be like, why are the wolves there? It's still whatever. But show brain, only no showing would be like, why? Oh, right, they put up a wolf banner and they're mentioning Perrin wolf.
Well, we did see an episode or two ago when they entered the White Cloak camp that they had a bunch of dead wolves on spikes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is why there are no wolves around.
Well,
the White
there's
Cloak
a lot more wolves than that in the world, but especially in a large
but that's
area
also
that.
Very subtle.
Yeah.
Right.
So there.
That's it.
Yes, it is very subtle that they're anti-wolf. But not that they've killed all the wolves in the entire region. And actually, there was one point where I felt like Perrin was reaching out with his wolf sense. It's oh my god, this is the moment. At the barricade, I was like, he was reaching out with his wolf sense, but then nothing happened. I was like, God damn it, this would have been the perfect point to reach out with your wolf sense.
And it's something I didn't have a problem with not having. I didn't expect any wolves, because I don't remember the wolves really being a real part.
They did. They were an important part. They came in and cleaned house and then fucking left.
I don't remember that.
In the Battle of the Two Rivers?
No, Lord Luke had gotten rid of them before, but again, that was my book brain knows that. That is not what they're going with in the show, or if they are, because they did introduce Lord Luke, which is, I'm like, why did they introduce Lord Luke? And I don't think he had any dialogue this episode, which is fine. But I'm like, okay, why even have him? Just don't even cast him.
Now, are they? They've obviously underutilized the character. Do you think they're going to do something with him,
that's where I was going.
Have an opinion on that.
That's where I was going with my theory for season 4 is that Fail and Luke are going to pair up. And they're going to start trying to track Perrin, who's going with them to, White Cloak's headquarters.
Oh.
And then Luke, who is going to be, sleeping as Slayer, is going to be hunting Perrin with Darkhounds during the night.
I came back with a separate argument, I think, that follows some of yours, but I had other options. Bane and Chiad were going to be with Fail. and the wolves kind of coming in at the same time, sort of an accidental battle of the five armies thing from The Hobbit. They were going to rescue him because everyone just happened to come together at the same time.
I also think Fane is going to be hitting up possibly Shadar Logoth this time.
So
He's been there. Does he need to go back?
I don't know.
I mean, he always needs to go back. He's drawn back. According to the books, he's always drawn back to it.
He hasn't been there yet, really. Not in the show.
We don't know that. Like he's in everything.
Yeah, not that we know.
Like, and there's been so many things that happened to him off book, like off screen on the books. So like
off page. Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know that he's been there.
But if he gets, let's say, banished from the Dark One,
he's definitely been through the ways, and that was one of the things. Like he had the taint from the ways and was able to survive the ways in spite of having Much and Shin terrorize him. Like they did not consume him. He survived it somehow.
Matt Stagger will have to help me remember who I heard this from on the Puppet Show tonight, but somebody had an interesting theory over there. They pointed out that Child Byer, however you pronounce his name, has been introduced, Jarrett Byer, one who really hates Perrin in the books. Yeah. And he might try that whole thing.
He hates, like, he's the extremist. He hates everybody. It's not just Perrin.
Right. But he's been introduced, so they might try doing the thing that he did in the book, where he sets it up so that it looks like Perrin's escaping and then he gets cut down or whatever. You know, he might set that up, and when that gets set up, that's when the wolves attack. So Perrin would be out of his cage in manacles, and the wolves would attack and take down.
That was kind of what they did in the episode.
Oh, okay.
Like the first season.
Yeah,
so a little bit.
I wouldn't object to them repeating it because you got to get Perrin out of lockup somehow, and that just works. Either that or Fael and the maidens are going to do it.
Yeah, well, that's how I want to go.
I can understand that Child Byer, based off of what Dane's choices were in this episode, was not happy. Like it's like, well, and like happy that Perrin got taken into custody, but I'm imagining that like whatever happens in the next episode. I I don't understand what's going to happen with that plot line. Because it's the antithesis of what happened in the story, the book story. Right. But I think that's where, anyways, we have to we put our faith in Rafe.
You know, my main thought though is if Perrin and White Cloaks head south, that gets him closer to Tyr.
I'll say this right
now. And that gets them closer to where they were
actually
actually heading in book 3.
We don't get Perrin next episode.
I know. I'm talking about season 4.
I'm saying I don't think we get Perrin next episode. That's my guess.
My question. Do we see anything of Perrin next episode? Or
I don't think so.
It's going to be Tanchico and Rui.
So we're done with the Two Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, how finished do we become in Tanchico? Because I think we have a good feeling for what's going to happen in the
hills of Tanchico.
I love that. I love how Lane didn't know, and then she was like, "Oh shit, that was great." I love that.
I think we know what happens in the Threefold Land, but how far do we get in Tanchico? Or is there going to be a cliffhanger, or is there going to be culmination? And
yes.
Yes, Max, you said yes.
Yep. Yes.
Explain.
Yes.
Sis.
No. You don't get off that easy, buddy.
But I said culmination or cliffhanger. Yes.
Yes. Explain.
That's my guess. Is culmination and cliffhanger. Yes.
Explain why.
Okay. So, do we get Nin and Moggy?
I don't know. I haven't seen
or
it.
nay?
That's my guess, though, is we're going to get both. We're going to get a culmination of events and a cliffhanger. That's my
You're-
guess.
You're going to give us a waffle, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
I think we will get Nynaeve and Mogedian showdown. That's the primary thing we're going to get in Tanchico.
I still will not be happy with their showdown unless it involves Nynaeve sucker punching Moggy.
Mm-hmm.
And there has to be a guy with a cart of cabbages.
Throwing a slipper at Moggy. Not
There has to be-
punching. Throwing a slipper at Moggy.
Yeah.
And there has to be a guy with a cart of cabbages walking past them as they're mind
Thank
battling.
you. Yes. Cart of cabbages.
Oblivious.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, and
Oblivious
there
to
has to be a Mercedes logo on the table in the background.
Max,
Yeah.
is that a Avatar: The Last
Yes.
Airbender reference?
Has to be the same guy, too.
The cabbages?
Has to be the cabbage guy from Avatar.
That's what I thought that was.
Yep.
Actually, I thought it was supposed to be the hat guy that we saw earlier in Tanchico, but okay.
So, are we doing predictions for the next episode? Is that what we're doing?
Oh,
No,
God.
let's
No.
not.
No, but we should wrap it up here.
Yeah.
I think we should.
Oh,
Thank you, Leia
hey,
and Mitch, for
we've
coming
only
on.
been at it for 3 hours, for God's
I know
sakes.
it's the
Come
longest
on.
episode I've done, so longest live stream I've done. So
Great.
this
Hey,
been-
everyone
what she
watching,
said.
I hope you've enjoyed the hell out of it like we have.
we've
yeah.
had a lot of fun.
A lot of
Jen,
fun.
congrats on the new computer. It's good to see you in a landscape mode instead of portrait mode.
My secrets I haven't given to everyone yet.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So guess what,
Yeah.
everybody? I'm back from the dead. She is risen before Easter. That is so wonderful. I'm back from the dead.
Woohoo.
All of a sudden, hello. I'm going to be. I have gotten Baldur's Gate. I'm going to be streaming Baldur's Gate. That's going to be my life. I'm going to be back. I'm going to
Yeah.
be streaming. I'm going to be doing things.
Get
I
it, girl.
have the ways and the means now. So that is all new information. I've let Discord know because Ashen Crow is very kind to me. Shout out to Ashen Crow, who is the voice of narration at the beginning, and also my family. But yeah, long time coming. I am back from the dead. I am here. So as of Friday afternoon, still getting things set up. I literally I downloaded Discord today. I literally didn't have my
Girl, I've seen you.
an hour ago.
I've seen you in chat, and I love it.
Yeah,
It's fucking
I'm
amazing.
coming back. I'm slow. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stop being dumb in Discord, and I'm going to start going back. So I'm going to slowly reemerge back into the realm of online living entertainment and working full time. So I'm just going to kill myself. I'm going to die out. But anyways, I'm here.
We're
So
gonna have
Now, Jen, you had said you have the ways and the means.
yeah.
Okay, so we know what the ways are. Now, the means, is that a different way of moving around in Randland that we haven't discovered yet?
And this turning of the wheel, there's a thing called internet connection. I'm like, that's it. You could be automatically talking to someone across the world. It's a different kind of traveling
across the country.
Yes, it's a projection. Yeah, there we go.
You two are about as far apart. I think you and Mitch are the furthest apart in the country right now of the people
Where you
on the
at,
screen.
Mitch?
I'm up in Oregon.
Oh, yeah. I'm in
he's
Florida.
clear across the country from you.
Yeah. I've been to Oregon one time. It was magical.
I've been to Florida several times and I hated it. My
Good
sister
for you.
lives down there.
Yeah, it does suck.
With the exception of the Kennedy Space Center
Okay. Yeah.
and the most awesome 3 hours of thunderstorms that I went through driving from Kennedy Space Center back to where my sister lives.
Oh yeah, it's the lightning capital of the world in Central
God, it
Florida.
was just astounding.
Yeah.
Astounding. It was 3 hours of almost nonstop lightning.
Yeah.
I grew up in Florida, and I do miss
Did-
all all the like thunderstorms and lightning and like all the rain and like wherever I live, it's like, oh gosh, there was so much like lightning. I was like, you have no idea. I would like, I had my bedroom was all windows and that's where I would take my naps, was like the daily thunderstorm. So
Leia, as always, thank you for coming on tonight.
Hi, thank you. Yes, so I'm Roof Mistress Leia at 1-3 Full Talk. I've got also, I say 3 Full Talk, but I have restarted my D&D. Restarted posting episodes. I haven't restarted. We've been playing this whole day. Yeah, from Time to Roll the Dice. So if you want a fourth age, like whatever happens beyond this story, so beyond the whole Wheel of Time series.
I've watched a few episodes, pretty fun.
And Max helped me with a lot of the lore, so thank you, Max. Like always, giving you credit. But yeah, so and we might have some surprises at JordanCon, so tune in for that.
Oh, that's right. You're on
nice.
Thank you for filling in tonight when I didn't actually end up needing somebody to fill in, but thanks for hanging out and joining us.
Hey, you know me, Glenn.
I know you had a long day at work, so I appreciate
I'm always happy to join in, cause some grief where I can, and particularly when I get to hang out with a couple of lovely young ladies like you and Max.
Thank
you.
That coming. I appreciate it.
Jen, I love that you had the same response that I did.
All right.
So, hey, everybody in the chat, thanks for watching and hanging out and chatting. Thank you, everybody at home, for watching. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and if you could, leave some comments. Please come back next week as we discuss episode 8. I don't even know the title of it offhand. You guys probably do.
It's probably, I think the title is The Greatest Story Ever Told.
Yes, right.
It works for me. So we'll be back next week.
I'm gonna fuck some shit up.
Yep.
There you go.
Then we'll be back 2 weeks after that to discuss the entire season with the season wrap-up video. So,
so what happens in the week in between?
We're taking the week off.
Break.
Fair enough.
It's JordanCon.
Yeah. So we'll see you back here soon. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to be awesome.
Bye, all.
We walk the footsteps of our fathers, trail blessed by our mothers. They bought the land with their blood long